Why can I not?
It's got to be a mentality. Yes, sir. So when you come out here, you're ready to dominate.
What the f?
Thank you. So, Noah, you haven't been able to hear anything I've been saying. I've been going 4 minutes. And my words haven't been heard by anyone. Noah, this is for you, Noah. You're the real MVP, man.
It's got to be a mentality. Yes, sir. So when you come out here, you're ready to dominate.
Mike has been off. Laugh out loud. Yes. I mean, you got to laugh when you're me. You're the low man on the totem pole, man. K3GZ. This is for you. Man, you can't get no lower than this, man. We're talking about the top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season. Number 32, Travis Etienne, the Jacksonville Jaguars. What do y'all think about that? Put it in the chat. W's, thanks. K3GZ, this is for you, man. I owe you.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Yeah. Woo! Let's go!
Kyren Williams. Crystal Ball Paul. You are live on Totem Pole Nation.
Awesome.
We're going over the top 32 running backs going into the 2025 season. My mic wasn't working for the first 4 minutes.
I thought I was tripping. I restarted my laptop. I thought I was tripping.
Lambo thought he was tripping, Paul. Because my mic wasn't working. Crystal Ball Paul is via satellite. We're going over who are the top 32 NFL running backs in 2025. Noah says, I think Travis Etienne brother Trevor is going to have a good season. Lambo, number 32 is Travis Etienne for the Jacksonville Jaguars. How do you feel about Travis Etienne, and how do you feel about his brother, Trevor? Paul, are you coming on? Crystal Ball Paul will be on in about 30 minutes. We will see you later, Paul. Bye, brother. T-Mac 1, what it do? T-Mac 1, this is for you. When you come on Totem Pole, you never know what's going to happen. And the mics were off for the first 4 minutes. But we got Lambo here, and this is a party. Thank you for joining us. Travis Etienne, Lambo, Jacksonville Jaguars. What are your thoughts about him at number 32?
Well, it's like what we always say when we coach. Running backs are really only a dime a dozen. Travis Etienne, a Clemson Tiger, he was one of legit running backs coming out of college. And I think Trevor went to the Florida Gators, if I'm correct. The problem was last year for the Jacksonville Jaguars is that they were very messed up as a team in general. So they weren't able to really run the ball like they wanted to. Trevor Lawrence had some injuries as well. I think at the end of the day, they will be better. I hope he stays healthy, because when he stays healthy, he can do some things. But the Jacksonville Jaguars should have a better offensive line. But I doubt it. We're going to have to see what Liam Cohen does.
T-Mac1 says, yes, sir. Thanks, fellas. The Terminator says, Coach Troy and Lambeau pulling the daily double. Yes. K3 Jeezy. Soon I'll be a top 32 NFL running back. Keeping the dream alive. That's what we want to hear. We believe in you, K3GZ. You can accomplish your dreams. HB Prods. Do y'all think Saquon was disrespected? He was put at number 2, and Derrick Henry was at number 1. Wow. We got a long ways to go. But Lambeau, how do you feel about that? HB Prods is saying that Derrick Henry was rated number 1. Derrick Henry of the Baltimore Ravens was rated above the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles Saquon Barkley.
The only difference is that Saquon is younger and Derrick Henry's been doing this for the last 9 years. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that Derrick Henry's number 1. I mean, you could put them both ways. I mean, Derrick Henry is still a legit real running back. I'm not saying Saquon's not real, but as far as like old school football, he's like the only legit real running back left.
Noah says, I'm going to play real tackle football next year because I'm going into 7th grade. I hope my middle school football team does good with me. Hey, Noah, we know you're going to do great. Big things are in store for people who follow Totem Pole, people who are a part of the Totem Pole. K3GZ, don't forget the Madden 26 cover 2, Saquon Barkley of the New York Giants, ex-New York Giant, Philadelphia Eagle, has to be number 1. HB Prods, we don't want the Madden curse on Saquon. K3. Number 31 in the top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 season. Number 31, Brian Robinson Jr., the Washington Commanders. Brian Robinson's stats don't wow, but he's a hard-nosed runner who has recorded yards after contact averages of 2.93 and 3.0 in the past 2 seasons in the NFL for the Washington Commanders, respectively, with yards per attempt averages of 4.1 and 4.2 as well. Lambeau, I thought that Brian Robinson Jr. was a little low on this list at 31. K3GZ says true. Noah said, I found out Nick Chubb signed a 10-year deal with the Texans? Wow, that's a long deal for a running back. HB Prods, he was shot, correct? Yes, I think Brian Robinson was. He should be ranked higher. I watched the game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and he gave them trouble. K3GZ says, I think Nick Chubb is washed, to be honest. Nick Chubb just left the Cleveland Browns and went to the Texans. Coach Bald. Hey, let's go Buffalo. Lambeau, do you think Brian Robinson Jr. of the Washington Commanders is rated low on this list, or you think that's where he needs to be? Wyatt Burdick. Hey, y'all. What's up? What's up, Wyatt? Coach Bald, Ray Davis Sleeper of the Year, back up in Buffalo. How do you feel about Brian Robinson, Lambo?
Well, I mean, if you look at the Washington Commanders team overall, I mean, they used 4 running backs last year. So it wasn't just Brian Robinson Jr. It was Jeremy Nichols. They used Chris Rodriguez Jr. and they used Austin Eckler that they got from the Los Angeles Chargers. Maybe he's a little bit low. I mean, according to the list, probably could be up a little bit, but we're not going to expose that. I think Brian Robinson coming off getting shot and coming off an injury, former Alabama Crimson Tide, I think he's going to get better. But like I said, running backs are only a dime a dozen, especially in the NFL. I mean, there's not when you watch the NFL. I mean, it's you don't really use a lot of running backs. You may use 1 or 2, unless you have certain teams that use like 2 or 3 running backs, which is very rarely, but I think he will improve this year coming off, an injury, a bad tragedy. I think he'll come back, but maybe he should be a little bit higher than number 31. But I guess they're basing it off that he got shot.
We got a lot of comments here. HB Prods says, Coach Bald, hope we get the chance to play the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles, that is. Noah, I might play as Virginia Tech in college football 26 because they're putting Enter Sandman in Virginia Tech's entrance. Great. K3 Jeezy, LA Rams versus the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. Number 30 on the Pro Football Focus. Top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 NFL season. Tyrone Tracy, running back for the New York Giants. Tracy enjoyed a solid rookie campaign in which he recorded 839 yards with a 69.6 PFF rushing grade. As a former receiver, his 40.9 PFF receiving grade was disappointing, but expect that to bounce back. Tyrone Tracy, the New York Giants at number 30, Lambo. What's your thoughts on Tyrone Tracy and the Giants?
I think when it comes to Tyrone Tracy, the Giants' offensive line was not the greatest at all last year. He spent legit 4 years in college, 3 years in Iowa, and 1 year with the Purdue Boilermakers. He does really have some potential. I think he really stepped up after Saquon Barkley, was let go as a free agent. It's just hard to really judge, and I'm not even a numbers guy, but the Giants couldn't get anything going. There's a reason why they were the number 2 draft pick. So I think they'll get better, but it wasn't just Tyrone Tracy stepping up. I mean, you also had Devin Singletary making some moves as well. It's just with Tyrone Tracy, I think he's a great running back if he's behind a better offensive line, which we'll see if the New York Giants will have a better offensive line with quarterbacks behind Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston competing for the job while you have Jackson Dart sitting there and watching. So we'll see if the Giants are going to improve. Brian Daboll is on the hot seat.
K3 Jeezy, is it me or is Coach Lambo glitching? We have had some technical difficulties at Totem Pole. And I don't know if it's our Wi-Fi or our computers. We are the low man on the totem pole, man. I mean, you wouldn't believe what we have to do this. Basically a phone and a laptop. HB Prods, I think he would be better on a different team. That's a great point. Number 29 for the Pro Football Focus, top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 NFL season. Ramondre Stevenson, New England Patriots. Stevenson has generated 0.36 PFF WAR over the past 3 seasons. Good for 18th in the league. His 70.3 PFF rushing grade in 2024 was a career high, and it came behind the NFL's worst offensive line in the New England Patriots. Are you surprised, Lambo, that PFF has put Ramondre Stevenson of the New England Patriots at 29?
Well, I think that's correct. I'm a Sooner. LeGarrette Blount coming out of college. I think he's right there just because he's fumbled the ball so many times. Last year was the New England Patriots year. He had some fumbling problems. Not last year, the full fumbling problems. So this year they brought in competition. You got Travion Henderson out of the Ohio State University, and you also brought in Antonio Gibson, who's a Washington. So he's going to have competition. I mean, he's running back one right now, but Travion Henderson, I have a feeling he might take over the job. But we'll see how well he does. If he fixes the fumble issues, we got a better offensive line now. We got Morgan Moses. We got Will Campbell. So we're going to be fine when he runs through that. The only problem he has is he needs to stop fumbling the ball. If he fumbles the ball, running back one, Travion Henderson will probably have 1,000-yard season if Ramondre Stevenson keeps having those fumbles.
HB Prods. He should be higher, especially above Quinshon Judkins. 800-plus yards with the worst O-line in football is an accomplishment. K3GZ says, out of subject, but I keep getting emails and calls from NCSA. Are they a scam? People say they are since you guys are coaches. I just want to see if they are real or fake. They're real, but it costs thousands of dollars. So if you have thousands of dollars, that might be something that your parents want to invest into. But we're the low man on the totem pole, and we don't have money like that. Number 28 on the top 32 NFL running backs in 2025. Another New England Patriots running back. K3GC said, I don't got that. Laugh out loud. Neither do we. Number 28 on the top 32 running backs in the NFL before the 2025 season, Trayvon Henderson, New England Patriots. Henderson was Quinshon Judkins' teammate at Ohio State for the team's 2024 National Championship campaign. He was the speed element of the duo, earning PFF rushing grades of 90 and 88.4 in the past 2 seasons, respectively. He also recorded more than 220 receiving yards in each of the 2023 and 2024 seasons. He's from Central Virginia. He's from where I was born, Hopewell, Virginia, AJS.
So Travion Henderson was born in Hopewell, Virginia. Travion Henderson, New England Patriot. Look, Travion Henderson from the New England Patriots, that was a steal. Travion Henderson, that was a steal from Mike Vrabel, New England Patriots. I was happy when we drafted that guy. That's a steal. Mike Vrabel, former Ohio State, he likes Ohio State guys. Look, based off the film in college, Ohio State had the best team in all of college football. You had him, you had Quinshon Judkins. We might as well just talk about both of them, right here, right now. Both of those guys just had a lot of speed. You had Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator. You had Will Howard. I mean, the whole team was better. I mean, you had those two, and then you had Jeremiah Smith. You had the best the best wide receiver in all of college football. I mean, both of these guys are just fast. Both of these guys are versatile. I think they'll be great additions. Quinshon Judkins for the Cleveland Browns. as well. You know, Nick Chubb going to the Houston Texans, signing a 1-year deal. So I think he'll be the main starter going forward. Like I said, Travion Henry has a chance to take over the job for Ramondre Stevenson due to fumbling issues. Ramondre Stevenson also has a little bit of injuries, but we'll see what the identity of the Patriots is going to be as far as the offense. I think it's going to be more of what we did with Tom Brady. And then the Cleveland Browns, they just got to have the right quarterback back there. I don't know who's going to win the job. I say that Joe Flacco is probably the starter week 1. You know, I think the veterans between Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, but they just have to have the right offensive line. I know the Patriots do. The Cleveland Browns, we're just going to have to see if they can really put that offensive line together to run. They can run the football. You got Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator, former Notre Dame OC, former Alabama OC. So they're gonna put this together, but we'll have to see. I think both of these running backs are the future, but you only guaranteed to sign one contract as a running back.
Number 27, Quinshon Judkins, Cleveland Browns. You've already talked about him. 26 on the top 32 NFL running backs in 2025. Coming in at number 26, Najee Harris, Los Angeles Chargers. Najee Harris joined the Los Angeles Chargers after spending 4 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. His career PFF rushing grades to this point, 71.5, 75.2, 77.2, and 77.5 represent slight improvements each season, but no big steps forward. Najee Harris, Lambo, I know you're a big fan of the Los Angeles Chargers and their franchise led by Jim Harbaugh.
Look, Najee Harris, we'll see if he's put in the correct place. But I mean, look, like I said, he's not a bum. The problem with Pittsburgh is the identity of the offense that they had with the quarterback. That just wasn't Najee's scheme. You know, he didn't really fit that pattern with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now you drafted Omarion Hampton out of UNC. So I think the plan between Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton is that Jim Harbaugh is going to do the same technique what he did in Michigan when he had Blake Corum and when he had Donovan Edwards has had 2 good running backs. They're going to run the ball. They're not going to put a lot of the game in Justin Herbert's hands. They're not going to do that. That's why I mean Justin Herbert, when we went over the quarterbacks yesterday, Justin Herbert had, 23 touchdowns and 3 interceptions? I mean, the way Jim Harbaugh is building this culture with the LA Chargers, they're only going to get better. I have a lot of confidence in them. I thought it was going to make a deep playoff run, but against the Houston Texans, they turned the ball over a lot. So, like I said, Najee Harris, Omarion Hampton, that those would be running backs 1 and 2. With the loss of Austin Eckler and some other guys in the past, I think by the end of the season, you're going to be hearing about Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton. Those will probably be the 2 top running back duos on that team. I say around top 5 or top 6.
HB Prods with the comment, Najee Harris might have a breakout season with the LA Chargers. Najee will be a big part of their playoff plans if they make it. Thank you, HB Prods, for that comment. Number 25 on the top 32 NFL running backs before the 2025 NFL season, Chase Brown of the Cincinnati Bengals. Chase Brown earned a 73.8 PFF rushing grade and a 76.6 PFF receiving grade last season to give him 3 down value for the Cincinnati Bengals. That combination of skill helped him produce the 16th highest PFF WAR mark among the running backs in the 2024 NFL season. Number 25, Lambo, Chase Brown, Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, Chase Brown, that was kind of a steal for the Cincinnati Bengals as far as the draft. Uh, Former Western Michigan, and then he also went to Illinois. But here was the problem for the Cincinnati Bengals last year. I mean, they just went off the slow starts, and defensively, they couldn't stop. Defensively, they couldn't stop anybody. That's the reason why they went 8-9, and they won. The games they're supposed to win. I think they went 9-8. They finished off the season strong. The only problem is their defense couldn't stop anybody. That's why they got Al Golden. But also, with Chase Brown really stepping up for the loss of Joe Mixon, who was no longer on the team. But, they couldn't really run the ball. Even though he almost had 1,000 yards rushing, the only two guys they really had was between him and Zach Moss. So I think this year they're going to be better as far as running the ball. You can't really make Joe Burrow throw the ball 50, 60 times a game, and that's just really not sustainable, especially with the injuries that they had, not just on the offensive side. They had injuries on the defensive side as well. So I think Chase Brown did what he could with, a sort of, I wouldn't say weak offensive line, but an inconsistent offensive line. So, and he's a smaller guy, third down guy, so he can catch the ball out in the backfield, kind of like a James White, a younger version of a James White. But I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a lot better this year than they were last year. When you got Al Golden defensive coordinator, I expect the Cincinnati Bengals to win at least 11 games this year.
Number 24 on the PFF, top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season. You've already talked a little bit about Omarion Hampton of the Los Angeles Chargers. Hampton's placement here is in flux since he has not taken an NFL snap yet. But we know running backs can break out early, and Hampton has the talent and landing spot to do that. He earned PFF rushing grades of 88.7 and 88.4 in each of the last two seasons for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Lambo, do you think that Omarion Hampton should have been rated higher than both of those running backs from the Ohio State Buckeyes?
The only reason why he's ranked higher, no, but the only reason why he's ranked higher because he's a big running back. Omarion Hampton out of the UNC, Chapel Hill, Chapel Bill. He played under Mac Brown. There's a big physical running back. He had some really great seasons with UNC. I think that this right here is a great fit for the Los Angeles Chargers. Like I said earlier, you're going to have him and Najee Harris in the backfield just trying to ground and pound. I don't know what the snap count is between him and Najee Harris as far as what Jim Harbaugh is going to do, but I think they're going to even it out to make sure that the running backs are healthy. He shouldn't be on top of guys that have already played. Like, he shouldn't be ahead of Chase Brown because, Chase Brown did what he could with the inconsistent offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals. But I guess he's, how big, Omarion Hampton is, it just, I don't know. PFL doesn't really know anything. He's a 6'1", 220-pound, running back. He's just big on the outside. But, no, I wouldn't place him ahead of somebody he hasn't played yet.
Number 23 in the top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 NFL season, Isaiah Pacheco, Kansas City Chiefs. Pacheco missed a significant chunk of time last season due to a fractured fibula in week 2. Pacheco has been a solid player for the Kansas City Chiefs over the past 3 seasons and is not afraid to lower his shoulder and secure tough yards. His 80.2 PFF rushing grade in 2023 was a career best figure, but his yards after contact average has still been below 3 in each of the past 2 seasons for the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 23, Isaiah Pacheco, Kansas City Chiefs. Lambo, what do you feel about Pacheco and the Chiefs going into this season? Pacheco's at 23.
Pacheco is a really fast and physical runner. I know he didn't play that much last year, but the person that really stepped up was, Kareem Hunt. He really did step up. But having Pacheco at number 23, I don't think it's disrespectful. It's just, he's right where he needs to be. He hasn't played. He got hurt. So I'm not going to put a lot on him as far as that. But look, when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs offense, I mean, they didn't really run the ball too much that year. They were relying on Patrick Mahomes in the pass game. So they just mainly passed more than they ran the ball. But, when the game is on the wire and they really need Isaiah Pacheco to close out the game, he has had the ability to really close out the game. He's going to come back. He's going to be better than ever, refreshing. He's going to be fresh. He's going to be healthy this year. So we'll see if they have more rushing yards because the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs just got demolished in the Super Bowl. But I think he'll be fine. He's going to be way better this year.
Wyatt Burdick says, man, Pacheco this low is straight up disrespectful. I think he'll be way better than that. Thank you, Wyatt Burdick. This is a helmet sticker for you.
It's got to be a mentality. Yes, sir. So when you come out here, you're ready to dominate.
Number 22 on the top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 NFL season. Tyler Allgeier, Atlanta Falcons. This may seem like a high ranking for what many would consider a backup running back, but that title is insulting to Allgeier's consistency. He ranked 11th amongst running backs with at least 100 attempts in PFF rushing grade, 85.7. Lambo, what do you think about Tyler Allgeier of the Atlanta Falcons being 22?
Well, you have Brian Robinson Jr. ahead of you. So, not Brian Robinson Jr. You got that other running back ahead of you. I can't remember. Bijan Robinson. Bijan. So, yeah, you got Bijan Robinson ahead of you. So, I think as Allgeier, he just has to really get better. He's a former BYU guy. So, I just think he has to get better. But, I mean, the problem with the Falcons is just that they really went off to a slow start as far as the start of the season. Week 1, losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think they scored a touchdown that game, if I'm being correct. I don't think they scored a touchdown at all. Pittsburgh Steelers didn't score a touchdown, and they just couldn't win. So I think they got the right place right now, just having Michael Penix Jr. at the running back slot. I think both of those running backs will be better with Bijan and Tyler Allgeier. They're probably going to mix in some RPO in their offense this year. So I think at the end of the day, they're going to get better. And I think the offense is going to be more of a college, style, a little bit of pro, mainly pro, but a little bit of college concepts in for Michael Penix Jr. so he could fit that system. But obviously Kirk Cousins didn't fit the system for the Atlanta Falcons. So I think Raheem Morris is smart to really pull the plug on him. But I think the Atlanta Falcons will be a lot better this year. I think they're going to compete with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the NFC South division.
Number 21 on the PFF top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season. Number 21 is David Montgomery, Detroit Lions. Montgomery gutted out a knee injury that could have removed him from the Detroit Lions playoff plans, earning an 80.1 PFF rushing grade and the highest receiving grade, 90.7 of any running back. At number 21, Lambo, David Montgomery of the Detroit Lions.
That's it. It's a great addition. He played college football at Iowa State. He was the Chicago Bears. I think the Chicago Bears really lost a good one, and Detroit Lions was really smart to pick him up. The only thing with that, he was, he could be a little bit higher. I mean, the Detroit Lions offensive line really behind Penei Sewell It's just so big, and they can really just run it down your throat. We're offensive line guys, or you're the offensive line guru. They go left and they go right. I mean, their offensive line run game is just so unstoppable. But also, it's not just David Montgomery. I mean, you had Jahmyr Gibbs, you had Craig Reynolds. So, I mean, when it comes to David Montgomery, I mean, he deserved it, mate. He's a dog that can really run downhill. He had a lot of breakout games this year. I'm surprised he's not higher than number 22 or whatever we're at right now.
Yeah,
so
21.
21. Yeah, he should be higher than 21 with the breakouts he's had. He did good for Chicago Bears despite them not really doing too much. Dude, he's a first and second down running back. He can also do things on third down. So he's just a young veteran guy. And if you play fantasy football, he gave you legit fantasy numbers last year too. And I think this year he will only get better.
Number 20 in the top 32 running backs going into the 2025 season, Alvin Kamara, New Orleans Saints. Kamara was once the gold standard of versatility, someone who was guaranteed to rack up rushing yards, produce efficiently after contact, and provide fantastic outputs as a receiver. Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints is still all of those things, just as less impactful level at 30 years old. Kamara earned a 76.6 PFF rushing grade in 2024. At number 20, Alvin Kamara. Lambeau, what do you think about that? I mean, he used to be one of the best running backs in the game.
I mean, the problem with the team wasn't as good. After Sean Payton left the team, and they just weren't really a good team under Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen is the former head coach of the New Orleans Saints. He was the former DC as well. They just weren't consistent, especially the quarterback's play wasn't really there. I think Alvin Kamara will have a chance to be a top 10 running back and get in the league if he goes somewhere else. The problem with the New Orleans Saints is that, you only had him to rely on, and then also you had Jamal Williams and Keandre Miller. I mean, their offensive line wasn't really good at all last year. There was a reason why they were third in the division last year. But I think Alvin Kamara, former Tennessee Volunteer, played only 1 year of college, by the way. When he's healthy, he can really run downhill. What does Alvin Kamara really remind you of when you really watch Alvin Kamara? What does he remind you of at his best?
Frank Gore?
Yes. So, yeah, there you go. That's he's like a Frank Gore when healthy. Are the Saints offensive line to get better under Kellen Moore? We're going to have to see. But if he wants to win, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not a New Orleans Saint past next year.
Number 19 on the top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season, Aaron Jones of the Minnesota Vikings. Aaron Jones ranks 10th among running backs in PFF WAR over the past 3 seasons. His 91.8 PFF rushing grade in that span ranks 8th, but recorded had just a 75.6 PFF rushing grade in 2024, and he will be 31 years old during the 2025 NFL season for the Minnesota Vikings. Number 19, Aaron Jones, Lambeau.
Look, Aaron Jones was a great pickup by the Minnesota Vikings last free agency. Former UTEP Miners running back out of college, out of UTEP. Look, Aaron Jones probably should be higher than 19. The way the way Kevin O'Connell designs his offense, I think there's a reason why Green Bay released him. They thought he was older and he didn't deserve like a contract extension. I guess they wanted to go with a younger running back, or they wanted to go with Josh Jacobs. look, he didn't lose a step last year in that system for the Minnesota Vikings. They're going 14-3. Sam Darnold was going off, and you know, he had a big impact this year, but now also just Aaron Jones. You also had Cam Akers in the backfield too. So the Minnesota Vikings just really find a way to fit the certain pieces into Kevin O'Connell's offense, and they just go with the flow. They scored a lot of points last year. They scored a lot of points with a great defensive coordinator under Brian Flores, who's won a Super Bowl with New England Patriots, former linebackers coach and all things like that. Look, Aaron Jones probably should be higher than 19. He's probably in the top 15. The highest you could maybe put him at is maybe 13 or 12, just because, you know, he's one of those guys that didn't really lose a step. You know, I know he's older and he's 31 years old, but I mean, I'm not comparing him to Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry is strong, but look at Derrick Henry. He's still playing in this league. He's still playing in this league like it's 2002. Big running back. I'm just saying, like, there's some guys that you just missed out. You missed out on. So I mean, the Green Bay Packers are fine. I'm not saying they made a stupid decision for letting him go. You got Josh Jacobs, so it's just all about fits. You know, I thought he would stay, but I'm not surprised that he did well for the Minnesota Vikings.
Number 18 in the top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season. Number 18, Tony Pollard, Tennessee Titans. Pollard's 73.5 PFF rushing grade in his first year with the Titans was the lowest of his career. However, he has generated the fifth highest PFF WAR figure among running backs over the past 3 seasons. He also earned just a 51.6 PFF grade as a receiver in 2024, although much of that can be attributed to a roster that earned the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. Tony Pollard, the Tennessee Titans, Lambeau, at number 18.
Well, former Dallas Cowboys for Tony Pollard. He played with Dallas Cowboys for about 4 seasons. Came out of Memphis, the Memphis Tigers. I guess he played under Mike Norvell, the OC, and I guess 1 year when Fuente was there, and I forgot who the other coach was because Fuente took the job at Virginia Tech. Tony Pollard was the best running back on the team, I guess. This past season, you know, to let go of Derrick Henry last season when Mike Vrabel got fired and they let him walk. Look, Tony Pollard was really like the heart and soul of the Tennessee Titans. I mean, because when you looked at the team last year, I mean, Mason Rudolph wasn't the best guy on the team. Like, it was Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard just found a way to really, you know, dominate despite them not winning a lot of games. They've lost a lot of games and really should have won. But I think Brian Callahan with Cam Ward, they're going to be a lot better this year with Cam Ward. So I think he'll be better as far as the way they're going to run the ball. And I guess when the guys know Brian Callahan's system to the core, they're going to get better. But I think this is right. It's right there. Like, nobody's really talking about the Tennessee Titans last year, but Tony Pollard was really the heart and soul, you know, for that team. And it had some good defensive guys too.
Joe Mixon, number 17 for the Houston Texans. Over the past 3 seasons, Joe Mixon has produced an 87.6 PFF rushing grade, the 7th highest mark among running backs. He is a solid player who can contribute and be efficient on all 3 downs. Number 17, Joe Mixon, Houston Texans.
Man, I like Joe Mixon, man. Coming out of college for the Oklahoma Sooners. 1 year for the Oklahoma Sooners. Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know why Cincinnati really let this guy go because their running back core, I mean, wasn't really that good. But look, Joe Mixon, Houston Texans, look, he rushed over 1,000 yards with a new team. I mean, this guy is just, you know, something different. I wish he would have played against the Kansas City Chiefs in that playoff game. I don't know if they would have made a difference if they would have won or if they would have lost. But, I mean, Joe Mixon is still, you know, a younger a smaller version of type of running back where he's a third down. I think he's an all 3-down back guy. But mainly you kind of want to have him for first or second down so that he doesn't get overworked. They fired the offensive coordinator Bobby Stoic, and they got a new offensive coordinator this year. So I think they will be better as far as the consistency of the offense. CJ Stroud's shoulder is going to heal up. So I like Joe Mixon right here, but I don't think the Carolina Panthers running back should be ahead of Joe Mixon, just despite of the quick transition that he's made from the Bengals to the Houston Texans and still was effective. But I think the reason why he was let go is because the Cincinnati Bengals, they had to decide they had to pay Jamar Chase. Now they had to decide they're going to play T. Higgins. And then at some point, you're going to have to pay the defensive guy, Trey Henderson, the DN. But I don't know if he's going to get paid yet either.
Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Yo, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Let's go. Number 16, Chuba Hubbard, Carolina Panthers. Hubbard ranks 8th among NFL running backs for PFF WAR generated over the past 2 seasons. He posted an 86.3 PFF rushing grade with a 3.46 yards after contact average in 2024. His 39.5 PFF receiving grade is what holds him back from placing higher. Hubbard from the Carolina Panthers, number 16, Lambo.
Chuba Hubbard was a steal. He was a steal in the draft. He played at Oklahoma State. He was a steal. I don't know if anybody remembers that COVID year, but he was a dog in college. I think with the Carolina Panthers, they just need help on the offensive line side. I mean, he ran the ball very well with a bad offensive line. Not just him, but you also had Miles Sanders in the backfield, former Philadelphia Eagles. But look, when it comes to Chuba Hubbard, I mean, the dude is fast. The dude is, physical. He finds ways to just create holes. And when he runs the ball, I mean, it's what does a coach always say, or what did you always preach, Coach Troy Taylor, when it comes to running backs? Get 3-4 yards to carry. I mean, he gets about 3 or 4 yards to carry, sometimes 5 or 6, and you just impose your will. And that guy can really impose his will despite a terrible team, despite, the inconsistency of the offensive line and the defense. I think Carolina, once they put that team together, you just got to give Dave Canales, a couple more years. He's only in year 2, but they finished off the season very strong last year. Like, despite them going through some up and downs in the beginning to the middle of the season, they had some strong flashes towards the end of the season. So we'll see how good Carolina clicks this year. But I think they're probably going to be bad again and probably be better going into the next season.
Number 15 on the Pro Football Focus top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 NFL season. Breece Hall, New York Jets. Hall has started 16 games in each of the past 2 seasons, but still hasn't rushed for more than 1,000 yards. After earning an 88.9 PFF receiving grade in 2023, Hall garnered just a 49.5 mark for the Jets in 2024 to match the 48.8 grade he recorded as a rookie. Hall is a talented back and will need to hit the ground running with the New York Jets' new coaching staff if he wants to stay and play in New York City for the New York Jets.
Well, former Iowa State, played at Iowa State for 3 seasons. Look, Breece Hall did what he could. The Jets had the Jets really had high expectations coming to last year. You had Aaron Rodgers, and there was all this hype about how they were going to make the playoffs. And, I told people they were going to make the playoffs, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Patriots fan, but the offensive line just wasn't good at all. The chemistry between the Aaron Rodgers and the wide receivers weren't there. There was a reason why Robert Saleh got fired in week 5, just because it just wasn't there. And then after that, it was a complete disaster after that one. I mean, I think they lost about every single game until maybe the last 2 games of the season. I mean, it was terrible. I mean, we already talked about, how bad, the GM and things is, but we're not going to get to that. That's a subject for a different day. I think Breece Hall is really going to have to, listen to Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn is a culture change and a culture shift for the New York Jets. I think it's a great hire for New York Jets, but just please don't base this off Madden ratings because it's not really real. You need to get players that really fit your system. I believe in his defense. The defense is going to be the same. The only problem that we all have is how good they're going to be on offense with Justin Fields at quarterback. That is going to be the answer. The defense is not the issue.
Sam Mason has a comment. Is Hubbard a top 5 back?
No.
Hubbard was 16 on the Pro Football Focus top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 season.
No.
Experts.
Top 5. Not yet.
Put it in the chat if you disagree with Chuba Hubbard's placement on the top 32 running backs in the NFL. Number 14, out of Wisconsin, Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts. Wyatt Burdick said, I do. Wyatt, this is for you for always being there, a helmet sticker. Wyatt said he should be mid-20s. Coach Bald says Jets, mess. Agreed. Number 14, Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts has the volume stats with more than 6,000 rushing yards over the past 5 years for the Colts. But he also owns just a 74.4 cumulative PFF rushing grade across the past 3 seasons. Jonathan Taylor recorded the lowest PFF rushing grade of his career in 2024 at 64.1. Jonathan Taylor in the Indianapolis Colts. Lambeau, what do you think about JT, the running back for the Colts?
I mean, this guy still has potential. It's just that the only problem is he's been injured the last 3 years. Starting in 2022, he's been really injury prone. The injuries he's had was with his ribs, his knee, his shoulders, his ankle, and things like that. But this guy is still a legit running back. Without all those injuries, he's a top 10 running back. But like when you play running back, you're the first one to really get hurt because you're basically taking all that contact. Look, he's a great running back, but it's gonna literally for the Colts this year, it's gonna come down to the quarterback. It's gonna come down to Anthony Richardson. Will he not tap out and say that he's tired? That's just going to come down to that. They got a great wide receiver core. I think they're going to have a solid defense. I like the way that they really drafted this year. I think they're going to get better. It comes down to AR5, and I think their center that they had a long-time center for the Colts, I think if he's not on that team, he might have retired already. So it just comes down to what AR5 can really do. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to be fine. If he can stay healthy, you know how fast and how quick he is. I mean, there's a reason why Wisconsin running backs, they're successful in the NFL for a reason.
Sam Mason says Jonathan Taylor at 14. What the F? If you think that Jonathan Taylor should have been higher, put yes in the chat. Experts, please put yes in the chat or no. Should Jonathan Taylor have been higher in the PFF top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season? All right, number 13 on the top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season, Ashton Jeanty, Las Vegas Raiders. Only 4 running backs in the PFF era earned elite PFF rushing grades as rookies. Adrian Peterson, 2007, Alfred Morris, 2012, Devon Achane, 2023, and Bucky Irving, 2024. Ashton Jeanty could very well be the 5th and the 3rd in a row. In 2024, he set PFF college records at Boise State with a 96.6 PFF rushing grade, 1,970 yards after contact, and 152 missed tackles forced. Ashton Jeanty, Las Vegas Raiders, number 13.
The only reason why they have him ahead of Jonathan Taylor is because when you look at Ashton Jeanty, he's like a Marshawn Lynch. When you look at Ashton Jeanty, he's a Marshawn Lynch. There's a reason why Pete Carroll selected him with the 6th overall pick in the first round. He's like a younger Marshawn Lynch. I mean, when you look at his calf muscles, I mean, that man is huge. I mean, forget how short he is. He's big in his arms. He's big in his thighs. Look, Pete Carroll got the right pick. He got a veteran quarterback. He's got a great rookie running back. The only thing he had to really tweak in his game was instead of standing up, he's going to have to, get down in this type of stance, right? Because he used to stand up, and I think he used to go about 7 to 8 yards back away from the quarterback, and now he has to learn how to get, side by side or learn how to get a little bit closer. That's the only thing he really has to change. But other than that, if the Raiders have a great offensive line this year, but they're going to be it's a tough division for the Raiders. No disrespect. I mean, you got Chargers in there, you got the Kansas City Chiefs in there, you got the Denver Broncos in there. That's a hard division. It's hard. Like, I don't know if they're going to be tied they might be last. I mean, just because of the quarterback talent that's there. You got Herbert, you got Mahomes, you got Bo Nix, but you got Geno Smith. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but you just got a guy that doesn't turn the ball over. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play defense. But the AFC is stacked, dude. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 7 or 8 win Las Vegas team. That's better than 4-13 or 5-12.
Tom Brady Goat, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. James Cook, number 12, Buffalo Bills. We always have a lot of Bills Mafia, Buffalo Bills fans, some of the best fans in the NFL. James Cook, Buffalo Bills running back, earned an 88.6 PFF rushing grade in 2024 with more than 1,200 rushing yards on the season. James Cook also recorded for the Buffalo Bills 26 runs of 10 yards or more, which was good for the 14th most in the NFL. James Cook, number 12, running back for the Buffalo Bills.
James Cook, former Georgia Bulldog, Kirby Smart, the head coach of the Georgia two-time defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs. Look, James Cook, he's an all-down running back, first, second, and third. Now, look at the way the Bills' offense is. The Bills' offense is really ran under Josh Allen. They got Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator, so they basically run a pro and a college style type offense. He can get under center, he can get a shotgun, he can do whatever he wants. Buffalo Bills have a really, really good offensive line. James Cook was the main reason. He had flashes as far as like fantasy. If y'all play fantasy football, he had flashes this year. There was a reason why the Buffalo Bills were in the AFC Championship game. It wasn't, we need Stephon Diggs. They really proved them wrong without having Stephon Diggs on the outside. You had Mac No Shoes Hollins. You had Dawson Knox at the tight end spot. And you had a great defense. The way Sean McDermott structured that team last year, great defense, explosive offense. Like I said, I'm going to keep saying it until it's sufficient. The only problem is they can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs when it matters. But they were able to beat a good Baltimore Ravens defensive team, creating mismatches. But look, James Cook probably should be bumped up to the top 10 because nobody expected James Cook to be like that last year.
Number 11 in the Pro Football Focus top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season. At number 11, Kenneth Walker III, Seattle Seahawks. Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks earned a 91.3 PFF rushing grade and a 72.9 PFF receiving grade in 2024. His 92.5 cumulative PFF rushing grade over the past 3 years ranks third at the position. His grades alone could have moved him higher on the list. And Hoop Edits, what's going on, coaches? I am hype. This is for you, Hoop Edits.
Woo!
Woo! Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks alone could have moved his grades alone could have moved him higher on the list, but his 3.7 yards per carry average last year drops him in the rankings. He has also steadily declined in both yards and yards per attempt averages over the past 3 seasons, while missing time due to injury each season. Hoop Edit says, W. Ric Flair. How do you feel about Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks, Lambeau, being at number 11?
Kenneth Walker, former Wake Forest Demon Deacon. He played for them for 2 seasons before transferring in COVID, and then played for the Michigan State Spartans. Look, Kenneth Walker, he's a physical running back. It was a great steal by the Seattle Seahawks. I think this guy, he kind of, he just reminds me of so many of the other guys. I mean, who does Kenneth Walker really remind you of when you watch him on tape? Because he can really run. Who does he remind you of?
I don't know. Who's the guy that reminds you of him? I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
I don't want to say Marshawn Lynch just because I just did Ashton Jeanty to Marshawn Lynch just because how big his
I think
thighs
Ashton Jeanty's more like Barry Sanders, man, than Marshawn Lynch, but I could be wrong.
But yeah, I just think when it comes to Kenneth Walker III, he's still able to just go downhill, all 3 down running back. You know, the way Seattle's played, they were 10-7 last year. I mean, they was on the verge of making the playoffs last year in the tough division of the NFC West. Run the ball, play defense. He will get better. They have Sam Darnold as a quarterback, but I don't know how they're still going to run the ball and play defense with Sam Darnold with knowing he's a passer. So either I'm not saying they have to change the offensive scheme, but I think they're going to have to be more of a 50-50, meaning you're going to have to have 50-50 pass and 50-50 run, especially with Sam Darnold at quarterback. There's a reason why you got him, because he can throw the ball. Geno just did just enough to, to not lose the game. But Sam Darnold, he's been sitting in a system, the correct system for the Minnesota Vikings. You had Kevin O'Connell, you had Josh McCown as the quarterback's coach. So we'll see how efficient he really does get. You have Cooper Kupp to the Seattle Seahawks as well. So that would be a great, interesting duel between those two guys. But Kenneth Walker is going to get better this year. He will probably be top 8 or top 7 when this season's all said and done.
Number 10 on the top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 season, Kyren Williams, LA Rams. Williams' 2024 PFF rushing grade, 74.3, wasn't all that impressive, but he rushed for more than 1,400 yards for the Los Angeles Rams and generated the 4th highest PFF WAR figure among running backs, helped by having 7 games where he earned a PFF pass blocking grade above 80. Kyren Williams, a product of that Sean McVay offense with the Los Angeles Rams. What do you think about him at number 10, Lambo?
I thought he had a decent season if you're looking at rushing yards. I mean, he had close to 1,400 if you're looking at rushing yards wise. Shout out to Kyren Williams, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish running back. He was legit. He was really good coming out of college. I think the problem was for the Rams last year was that, the offensive line was, had a little bit of issues and some injuries at that point. The Rams is very, inconsistent as far as the offensive line. They went off to very slow starts at times. They're not a bad team. There's a reason why they got rid of Cooper Kupp, just not healthy. But I think Kyren Williams, he's really something special. That was the replacement when they got rid of Cam Akers, so dude, Kyren Williams is going to be fine. He played in a tough competition of Notre Dame. By the way, shout out Chris Tyree. He was part of, that Notre Dame, running back room, but that was competition. I mean, you had Audric Estime, you had Kyren Williams. I mean, you just had dogs. Notre Dame does establish to bring out good running backs that come to the NFL. I mean, the only problem was Sean McVay he loves to call the plays. And sometimes when you watch the Rams, they could be, let's run the ball. And sometimes they could be, let's pass the ball more. But they were just behind a lot of it. And when you watched the Rams play last year, they were just behind so much last year. I thought they finished off to a good start. I had them beating the Eagles. They really should have beat the Eagles if he didn't fumble the ball, if it wasn't a turnover and things like that. But it just they made mistakes late in games. But look, if you had almost 1,400 yards rushing and you still won 10 games, I think right there at number 10 is where Kyren Williams will be. He will be a lot better. The Rams have made some great draft picks as far as O-linemen. They're going to be a lot better. But like I said, the NFC West is hard. Like, don't expect the Rams to win 13, 14 games and none of that stuff like that. It's a very, very hard division to play in.
Number 9 in the top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season, Devon Achane, Miami Dolphins. Achane in 2023 became one of the just 4 running backs to ever record an elite PFF rushing grade as a rookie, 93.1. He followed that with an 82.1 PFF rushing grade and an 80.2 PFF receiving grade 2024. He also racked up the most receiving yards at the position of 592. How do you feel about Achane and the Miami Dolphins at number 9? That seems kind of high for me.
Well, I guess they're basing off the season before where he really snapped the season before. Just he would really give you those type of fantasy numbers the year before. The only problem was the Miami Dolphins weren't really that good. They had some problems on the defensive side. Tua was hurt. And also, let's look at the offensive lineman. Left tackle, I think Teron Armstead retired this year. So and Raheem Mostert was the dog. I had him on my fantasy team. He's no longer there either. So their running backs have been both. He's been banged up. I think Raheem Mostert has been banged up. So they weren't the team they were in 2023 and 2024. They just had a really down year. I think this might be kind of high for me as well at number 9, but I guess he's like a track star. the song lyrics, she's a runner, she's a track star. But yeah, he's more of like a speed guy. You could probably put him in the slot as well, but him at number 9, despite the way the Miami Dolphins season went, a little bit too high for me.
Number 8 in the PFF top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season, James Conner, Arizona Cardinals. James Conner's 92.1 cumulative PFF rushing grade over the past 3 years for the Arizona Cardinals is tied for 5th best in the NFL. His .2 PFF WAR mark in 2024 ranked 7th among running backs in the NFL, and he forced 68 missed tackles. James Conner, running back, Arizona Cardinals, number 8 in the PFF top 32 running backs going into the 2025 NFL season.
This is correct. James Conner, coming out of the Pittsburgh Panthers, played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, so he's been at home for 3 seasons. But as of recently, I think James Conner really does fit this offense. It's just that the only issue with the Cardinals is like the man from So has said, you really don't watch them on TV like that. They're not primetime TV, so it's like when you watch the Arizona Cardinals, you really don't get excited about watching them, But James Conner is good. Marvin Harrison Jr. is good. Kyler Murray, those are the 3 main guys. But Jonathan Gannon, they're going to get better. But I don't know how better they're going to get because, like I said, the NFC West is going to be stacked. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be better than the Rams or the 49ers. They could be better than Seattle. That depends on their roster. But, it just the roster wise is just like, I just don't know. Like James Conner, he does what he does. The offensive line, it just wasn't good. And it was like, he finds a way to get 1,000 yards rush. It's just that the offensive line was the main problem last year. Like you said, Troy, Kyler Murray likes to play Call of Duty.
Number 7 in the PFF top 32 running backs in the NFL going into the 2025 NFL season, Christian McCaffrey, San Francisco 49ers. Christian McCaffrey, 49ers at number 7. We don't need to tell you how good Christian McCaffrey of the San Francisco 49ers is when healthy. Christian McCaffrey owns a 91.0 cumulative PFF rushing grade over the past 3 NFL seasons and led all NFL running backs in PFF WAR in 2023. All of Christian McCaffrey's healthy seasons have yielded incredibly high volumes and efficiency numbers. But in 2024, Christian McCaffrey was once again a season riddled with injuries. Christian McCaffrey played in just 4 games due to calf, Achilles, and knee ailments. And he will be 29 years old this year going into the 2025 NFL season for the San Francisco 49ers. Christian McCaffrey, number 7. What do you think, Lambo?
I mean, that was a steal from what the 49ers did to get traded for him for the Carolina Panthers, former Stanford Cardinal. His dad played in the NFL for the Denver Broncos. Was he a wide receiver, if I'm correct?
Yes, he was.
He was a wide receiver. So, look, when they say he's 29 years old, I mean, Derrick Henry, I think, is older than 29. He's at least, 33 or 34? I'm not making a comparison, but, I mean, Christian McCaffrey, dude, the whole 49ers roster was banged up. He wasn't the only guy. He was the main guy that was banged up, but everybody was banged up. The 49ers always had injury problems, but look, Christian McCaffrey is going to come back stronger. He's going to come back better. Last year they had Jordan Mason at running back as well. He's going to get better. They'll be fine. I think Christian McCaffrey has maybe a solid 3 years left in just his prime wise, just because he's already been through the injury. So he got a solid 2 or 3 more years left in his prime. I'm not saying that he's a bum or anything. I think he's a great running back. There's a reason why he was on the cover of Madden 2005. I guess it was the deluxe edition or the standard edition. There's a reason why he was on the cover of EA Sports Electronic Arts Madden NFL 25. Look, they're going to be fine. They're not going to give up on Christian McCaffrey. They went to the Super Bowl for a reason. So I think when it comes to the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan's going to make the right adjustments. You no longer have Debo there. You still have Ayuk and George Kittle and Brock Purdy, who signed a huge deal that he does deserve. They're going to be fine. They're going to be better. They're going to be more physical. By the way, you still have Trent Williams as your left tackle, by the way.
Number 6 in the PFF top 32 NFL running backs going into the NFL 2025 season, Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucky Irving was sensational as a rookie. He didn't quite have the volume stats of other running backs in this list range, but his efficiency scores were that of a top 10 back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucky Irving earned a 90 PFF rushing grade with 62 forced missed tackles and led the NFL with 3.93 yards after contact per attempt among NFL running backs with at least 150 carries. Bucky Irving of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers also posted a 90.2 PFF receiving grade, the second highest mark at the running back position in the NFL. Number 6, Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you think, Lambo? Is number 6 too high for Bucky Irving of the Tampa Bay Bucks?
I don't think so. The way, Leon Cohen designed that offense, the way Dave Canales has designed the offense, both are now head coaches in the NFL. The way they designed the offense, and Baker Mayfield is having two offensive coordinators in 2 years, they're explosive on the offensive side. Bucky Irving is a former Minnesota Golden Gopher, and then he played for the Oregon Ducks. So look, Tampa Bay, he's in year 2. He's going to be a sophomore in the NFL. He's explosive. When you create him in space, he can really run it. He can really run it down your throat. This year, the running game, was better than it was, I think, the year before. So they're going to be fine. I mean, he plays most of the snaps towards the end of the season. But they like the key thing for Bucky Irving, the key thing for Tampa Bay Buccaneers is that they have retained all of their offensive linemen from last year. And when you retain all the offensive linemen you had last year, the chemistry is just going to grow. It's only going to get better. So I expect Bucky Irving to be better. If you're a stats guy, I expect him to reach the 1,000-yard mark, even though I think he was at 950. But look, at the end of the day, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still going to win the division in the NFC South.
Number 5 in the top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 NFL season, Josh Jacobs, Green Bay Packers. Josh Jacobs of the Green Bay Packers, 93 PFF rushing grade over the past 3 seasons, trails only the Baltimore Ravens' Derrick Henry. Josh Jacobs earned a 91.3 PFF rushing grade in 2024 with an equally impressive and impactful 89.2 PFF receiving grade. Josh Jacobs of the Green Bay Packers is the total package.
Josh Jacobs was a steal. I don't know why the Raiders weren't smart enough to pay him, but I guess we'll see if it pays off this season when you sign Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State. That's a steal, Josh Jacobs, he played for the Raiders for so long. Dude, that's a steal. I just think that the Green Bay Packers were smart enough to say, hey, let's get a big running back. So the Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love and the way Matt LaFleur designs their offense, they're going to be great. They're going to be fine. He's only going to get better. The only problem was that they had injuries on the wide receiver side. But he's only 27. He's really still young. So he's going to be just fine. He's still young. He's big. He's huge. But the key thing is their offensive line is going to be very huge. Their offensive line has always been great. But I would be careful for another running back, Marshawn Lloyd. He's going to play a great role this season at the running back position. But he just better hope that he does not get outplayed by Marshawn Lloyd. So we'll see how this goes. He at least, when you watch Josh Jacobs, he had a rushing touchdown, I think, in almost every game for the first 10 games, if I'm correct. But I just think at the end of the day, Josh Jacobs at number 5 is correct. He didn't lose a step at all. I guess he felt disrespected from the Las Vegas Raiders to say, hey, when Josh McDaniels got fired, like, hey, he was literally legit the best running back they had on the team. Like, he rushed almost 1,400 yards that one year. He had the most carries, and he had that overtime game in Seattle. He had that big old run for a touchdown. I remember that, man. But it's just Josh Jacobs for the Green Bay Packers. It's God's plan for him. That's a great fit for the Green Bay Packers. Great steal.
Number 4 in the Pro Football Focus, top 32 NFL running backs going into the NFL season of 2025. We have a lot of Detroit Lions fans on totem pole. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, Detroit Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs of the Detroit Lions is a big play waiting to happen on every snap. Jahmyr Gibbs placed in the top 5 in forced missed tackles, 68, and runs of 10 yards or more, 46 in 2024 for the Detroit Lions. He also racked up the second most receiving yards of any running back last year in the NFL. Number 4 on the top 32 running backs in the NFL going into the 2025 NFL season, Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions.
Woo! Well, I like Jahmyr Gibbs. Before he played at Alabama, some of y'all didn't know he was a transfer from Georgia Tech before he played at Alabama. Look, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, that's top 5 running back duo in the NFL. The way that Ben Johnson has really instilled the offense, like I said, big offensive lineman. Jahmyr Gibbs is just flashy. He's quick. He can get the touchdowns. He can run, inside, ISO and whatever you need him to run. But look, it all starts with the offensive line. The offensive line is the most important position in any era, in any level of football. NFL, college, high school, whatever. If you have guys like Panay, Sewell back there, yeah, they're going to be free. This is the reason why, he's young, and this is the reason why he's a top 4 running back, just because the Detroit Lions, they scored points last year. Now, with the new offensive coordinator, I'm not saying that their play is going to decrease as far as, stats for rushing or scoring points. But we're just going to have to see. I don't think he's going to fall off at all. But, dude, when you got Jahmyr Gibbs and you got David Montgomery, it's just something different. I believe in Dan Campbell still going to, have that culture going. He's already got the culture established for the Detroit Lions. It's just going to be harder for them to make it back. They're going to make the playoffs, but to get into like the NFC Championship game and maybe the second round, it's going to get hard. Every year, and I think he said it himself, every year it's just going to get harder. It's hard to win a championship every year, but he's established that culture. I still think the NFC North runs through the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings.
Number 3 on the top 32 NFL running backs going into the 2025 NFL season, Bijan Robinson, the Atlanta Falcons. Bijan Robinson not only recorded the second best PFF rushing grade in the NFL last season, 92.1 for the Atlanta Falcons, but he also flexed his talents as a receiver, earning an 8th-ranked 82.2 PFF receiving grade. That combination led Bijan Robinson to be the NFL's most valuable running back in 2024 per PFF WAR. Bijan Robinson out of the University of Texas, Atlanta Falcons running back, number 3, Lambo.
Well, man, maybe. I mean, I still think Jahmyr Gibbs is better than Bijan, but I guess the reason why they have it number 3 just because, he's from a big school. I know Jahmyr Gibbs was from Alabama too, and he's from the Texas Longhorns. But look, Bijan Robinson has always been explosive. He can really force the missed tackles and the explosive runs, and he's also like a catchy type running back. But he's just quick in all areas. I think the thing he's got to work on. I think he did have some little bit of injuries in the past. I don't know if it was big injuries or whatever it was, but the way the Atlanta Falcons O-line is, their O-line has gotten a lot better. But it's just the problem with it last year. Last year was based off the quarterback play and Kirk Cousins. So I think, like I said earlier, when you have Bijan, when you have Michael Penix and you have Bijan Robinson, you could really explore that potential as far as the greatness in the Atlanta Falcons team. They're in the NFC South. It's going to come down to them and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that division. So I think they're going to be a fast team. They're going to be a fast team based off, tempo. You still got Kyle Pitts. You still got Drake London. Look, Bijan Robinson, number 3, I have no issue with that.
Number 2 in the PFF top running backs, and I think this is going to get some people fired up. Number 2 in the top 32 running backs in the NFL going into the 2025 season, according to Pro Football Focus, Saquon Barkley, Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley is a big reason why the Philadelphia Eagles are the reigning Super Bowl champions. Saquon Barkley earned an 82.7 PFF rushing grade in 2024 and tallied the most runs of 10 yards or more, 55. He also led the NFL with 2,504 rushing yards as he led his team, the Philadelphia Eagles, to the Lombardi Trophy. Saquon Barkley, Philadelphia Eagles, number 2 on the PFF top running backs entering the 2025 season.
I understand he's young, and I understand he's on the cover of EA Sports Electronic Arts Madden NFL 26, but he's not better than Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is still doing it. Derrick Henry is showing you why the Tennessee Titans are regretting what they're doing right now. I mean, look what he did with the Ravens. I mean, this dude is still dominant he's still dominant. A big running back, he's still dominant. I understand what Saquon Barkley did. He go to free agency. But look, the offensive line, the Jeff Stoutland Academy. Just remember that. They got a great offensive line for a reason. I'm not discrediting Saquon Barkley. I'm not. I like Saquon Barkley at number 2. I don't have an issue with that. But stop disrespecting Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry for a reason. The only problem and the reason why the Ravens didn't make the Super Bowl and the Eagles did is just because they have a better quarterback that can throw the ball better than Lamar Jackson. That's the only issue.
Number 1 in the PFF running backs, top running backs going into the 2025 NFL season, Derrick Henry, Baltimore Ravens. Even at 31 years old, King Henry is deserving of this list's number one spot. Derrick Henry led the NFL in PFF rushing grade in 2024, 93.5, winning PFF's Best Runner Award. Derrick Henry also boasts the highest PFF rushing grade in a 3-year sample size going back to 2022. Last season, Derrick Henry of the Baltimore Ravens forced the most missed tackles, 89, and ripped off the second most runs of 10 yards or more. PFF, number one running back going into the 2025 season, Derrick Henry, Baltimore Ravens. And we have a comment. Totem Pole Nation. We love Totem Pole Nation. Please like and share and subscribe and tell a friend or two. Thank you, Totem Pole, for allowing us to come back on. Derrick Henry, Baltimore Ravens, Lambeau.
Well, you know, the funny part last year is that I was grateful to go to 3 NFL games in a span of 3 weeks. So I watched Saquon and I watched Derrick Henry. And what Derrick Henry did in that last game of the year, oh, man, not even that. What he's been consistent for the whole year. I like the way John Harbaugh managed Derrick Henry and say, hey, he doesn't need to get 30 carries a game. We're just going to give it to him. We're just going to give it to him anyway we want. You know, get about maybe up to 20, 22 carries a game. Be explosive. Just hand him the ball. Dude, I'm telling you, Derrick Henry is the standard of the NFL when it comes to running backs. I mean, Derrick Henry has been in the NFL for almost, 10 years, I think, or 8 or 9. Derrick Henry is the standard. I understand that Saquon Barkley's fast and he can jump over and he's quick. You never seen a running back like him out of Penn State. But, dude, Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. And I like that he is at number one. I think y'all forgot he broke the rushing record or something like that last year. When it was at the game against the Cleveland Browns when it was cold. So, dude, I have no issue with Derrick Henry at number one, and I wouldn't be surprised based off the offensive line that they have with the Baltimore Ravens, and you still have Lamar Jackson at quarterback, that he might be number one again. It's going to be between him and Saquon at the end of 2025.
I'm looking at NFL.com. 2025 NFL MVP dark horses. And this is who Judy Batista says. In her article, she mentions Ja'Marr Chase, wide receiver for the Bengals. She mentions Travis Hunter from the Jaguars. He mentions Baker Mayfield from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers among potential candidates. We'll get back to this, though. Sam Mason says Lambeau's right. Henry is a god. And I think this is for you.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs.
Woo! Woo! All right, looking at this article right here of these potential. I mean, they must be trying to get clickbait. They're throwing Travis Henry's name around as an MVP candidate. And we will get to him, but let's talk first about the first name that Judy Batista of NFL.com talks about. Saquon Barkley, Philadelphia Eagles running back. After Saquon Barkley's extraordinary effort in 2024, it's hard to imagine what more the 28-year-old back could do to bolster his candidacy in 2025. Lambeau, can Saquon Barkley lead Philadelphia to another Super Bowl and win MVP?
Well, I mean, that's kind of based off politics, if we're going to be honest here. Winning the MVP is based off politics. Mainly, they're going to give it to the quarterbacks. And last year, Josh Allen won MVP. Is that correct? It was Josh Allen?
Yes.
Okay, so they're mainly going
Yeah.
to give it to a quarterback. I don't know when the last time they gave it to a running back or a defensive guy. They mainly give it to quarterbacks. So is Saquon Barkley MVP level? Yes. Are the Philadelphia Eagles going to go back to the Super Bowl? I have them as going back to the Super Bowl, but it's going to be hard. I'm going to stick with my answer and say yes until somebody beats them, but it's going to get harder because the schedule of opponents they have is very tough. And that starts with the division rival, the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, the next name that Judy Batista brings up in her article on NFL.com is Ja'Marr Chase, Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver. Another case of a player who could hardly do any more to get some support, much like Barkley, as well as fellow wideout Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings. Coming off the 2022 season, Chase got a few 4th and 5th place votes last season, but he had one of the all-time great years by a receiver, leading the NFL in receptions, 127, receiving yards, 1,700, and receiving touchdowns, 17. Ja'Marr Chase, longtime connection with Joe Burrow, is special. So Ja'Marr Chase's numbers should be there again this season. He, like Joe Burrow, would get more recognition if the Cincinnati Bengals could win more games. Lambeau, can Ja'Marr Chase become the NFL MVP?
He's got to be very dominant like Randy Moss. It's going to have to be dominant. I'm not saying he's not dominant. It's just that how healthy can Cincinnati be this year? That's going to be the main concern. How healthy can he be? The defense should be solid because you have Al Golden as defensive coordinator. The offense is going to have to score points, meaning you're going to have to get off the fast starts, get a better running back. You got to get a better offensive line. You still got T. Higgins, if I'm correct. I think T. Higgins is still on the team. I don't know if you're going to sign him long term or not, but he's MVP caliber too. There's just so much talent. You just can't really tell who's going to win who. If they just had an MVP just for wide receivers, let's just say they have an MVP for quarterbacks and wide receivers. Let's just say hypothetically, it will be my first, MVP or second, because also you got to remember you got Justin Jefferson on the other side too, as a wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, former LSU Tiger. Both those guys are LSU guys. So I think he has the potential to win MVP. So I'm going to say yes, but like I said, this is too early predictions. Too early. We have to see them play. We already seen the results for Ja'Marr Chase, but MVPs always go to quarterbacks. They always do.
I totally agree. Now, the next name that was brought up by Judy Batista to be a name that is hot for MVP recognition is Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders. He might not even be that much of a dark horse. Jaden Daniels got a handful of 4th and 5th place votes last season for NFL MVP, in which he was named the Offensive Rookie of the Year. With an improved offensive line, the addition of Deebo Samuel from the San Francisco 49ers, and a year of NFL experience under his belt, Jaden Daniels is positioned to ascend to the top tier of quarterbacks. If he does, and if the Washington Commanders can make another playoff run, Jaden Daniels will get plenty of attention. Could Jaden Daniels win the NFL MVP, Lambeau?
If it's not Patrick Mahomes again, if it's not Josh Allen again, yes. Now, We both watched his high school tape. I don't know why certain college coaches aren't smart to go get Jaden Daniels, but that's a different story for later. Look, the only problem I have with that, and it's not Jaden Daniels. If you look at the Commanders' schedule, it's a lot tougher than it was last year. A lot tougher. I mean, you got, your division opponents. That you got the Denver Broncos. You got a lot of home games. I think when I looked at that schedule, but it's just you got tougher opponents. You did make the NFC Championship game. Nobody predicted, according to the experts, nobody predicted the Washington Commanders to go to the NFC Championship. And I'll be the first one to say it. I didn't think it was going to go this far. I did think they were going to make the playoffs. I thought they were going to lose to the Detroit Lions. But look, Jaden Daniels just going to have to get better. And I think I like the connection between him and Cliff Kingsbury. That solid, trust right there. Because, Cliff Kingsbury has coached top quarterbacks like, Johnny Manziel and, other quarterbacks as well. And Patrick Mahomes. So I like the fact that he has a chance to win MVP. But we have seen quarterbacks go to sophomore slumps. The way he's going right now, we're going to have to see what he does, when camp happens in August, or mini camp starts at like the end of July or whatever it is. We're going to have to see how he does. You have an addition to Deebo Samuel, so he's going to have some weapons. I think he's going to be fine. But we have seen sophomore slumps. But the way Cliff Kingsbury really calls his plays and has the adjustments in the game, I think he's going to be fine. I'm not going to say he's going to have a bad year. I don't know yet, but let's not get our hopes too high because it's going to get harder now. Now, since Jaden Daniels has reached the NFC Championship game, some of y'all Commanders are going to have the expectation and say, we got to make the NFC Championship game every year. Now, hold on now. Just be careful what you say now. Just be grateful that you have a good quarterback and be grateful that you got new ownership. I am so proud of the Commander fans because y'all have the passion, and I'm glad that y'all back and y'all alive.
The next name that Ms. Batista brings up as a dark horse NFL MVP candidate is Jared Goff, quarterback for the Detroit Lions. He got third, fourth, and fifth place votes in 2024. The Detroit Lions have a new play caller in John Morton, who has already said he doesn't plan to change much of the Ben Johnson offense for one of the most complete explosive offenses in the game. Jared Goff, Lambo, do you think that Jared Goff could win MVP as the quarterback of the Detroit Lions?
If the Lions make the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, yes, he'll be the MVP. Look, Jared Goff has really changed himself, despite – and I didn't think he had down years with the Rams. I just think, according to Sean McVay, it's just he made some mistakes as far as the communication with him and Jared. But I guess it paid off for both teams in that trade. I mean, they ended up winning the Super Bowl for 2021 to get Matthew Stafford. And then, the Lions end up just getting better. So I think Jared Goff is home and safe in Detroit. And Detroit Lions fans are very, very appreciative of, Jared Goff and what he is capable of doing. But if the offense is not going to change, then I guess they'll be fine. But I'm gonna keep saying, it's gonna get harder for the Detroit Lions to make a deep playoff push with the new coordinators. Not just new coordinators, it's just you already have established that culture. And I think that certain NFL teams are going to copy the Detroit Lions model. And one of them is going to be the Chicago Bears because Ben Johnson knows Dan Campbell very well. Not saying that the Chicago Bears are going to make any type of playoff push either. They might win about 7 or 8 games with Caleb Williams. But the model right now, we keep saying, is the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, that's true based off, the Super Bowls they win and stuff like that. I do understand that part. But also at the same time, certain teams it's a copycat league. They're going to start copying what the Detroit Lions are doing.
The next name that Ms. Batista brings up as a potential dark horse NFL MVP is a guy that you're a big fan of. He is the quarterback for the San Diego, or now it's the LA Chargers, Justin Herbert. Do you think that Justin Herbert can lead the Los Angeles Chargers to a Super Bowl and win NFL MVP?
Well, based off of stats of last year, that according to the NFL, it's not MVP numbers, 23 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I don't have an issue with that because they're going to run the ball first and they're not going to put the game in Justin Herbert's hands like he did the first 3 years of his NFL career when he had Brandon Staley. He said, let's just pass the ball for 4,000 yards, but they really weren't winning games, and then they blew that playoff game. Look, Justin Herbert is a big quarterback, 6'5", out of the University of Oregon. I mean, he can make all the accurate throws, and I trust the development of Jim Harbaugh. If he can win a national championship with J.J. McCarthy, he gonna win a Super Bowl with Justin Herbert. I don't know if it's gonna be this year because, like I said, the AFC West is stacked. If they make the playoffs, you're either gonna have to play the Broncos 3 times or you're gonna have to play the Chiefs 3 times. You already play them twice in the division, so you're gonna play one of those teams 3 times, and it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Okay, here we go.
2-1.
We have a comment from Jets Gamer. Hey, Coach Troy, it's Chiefs Kingdom. How are you? Chiefs Kingdom. We are so excited that you are back to Totem Pole Nation. But how did you go from being a Chiefs gamer to being a Jets gamer? I think I would have stuck with the Chiefs. So this is for you. All right. This is a special graphic of the Chiefs quarterback. You know who it is.
It's got to be a mentality. Yes, sir. So when you come out here, you're ready to dominate.
He says, Jets Gamer says, I would rather stay loyal to my city, man. Pat Mahomes. Yes, Patrick Mahomes. We're here. We went through the top 32 running backs. We're talking about dark horse candidates for the MVP according to NFL.com. Now, this is shocking. Ms. Batista, in her article, names Travis Hunter, Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver and cornerback. Perhaps the darkest of dark horse on this list, Travis Hunter mans 2 positions, but neither is quarterback. Still, how do you ignore a player who could do something rarely seen in the NFL? Play both ways and have a significant impact at both receiver and cornerback. Jets Gamer says, and plus, I live near MetLife. That is amazing. Are you in Jersey? Are you in New York? Now, Lambeau.
Yes.
Travis Hunter. Do you think Travis Hunter, is it even remotely possible that he's going to go into a bad franchise like the Jacksonville Jaguars and win the MVP? Is Ms. Batista, is she off her rocker with this?
Well, can we let him play in the NFL first before you consider him as an MVP? Hold on. What position is he going to play? He's not going to be successful playing both sides of the ball, and cornerback and wide receiver. You said he would be a good corner. Is that what you said earlier?
I think so.
Yeah, just stay at corner. I wouldn't play both. I wouldn't play wide receiver and play corner. Number one, you're too small to play wide receiver as far as like your arms. Your arms are skinny. And then number two, I don't know how good Jacksonville is going to be. Like, let's not put unrealistic expectations on guys because, they were good in college and they're in the NFL. The NFL level is different. And the favorite saying we like to say in the NFL, it stands for not for long. So if you play both sides of the ball, it's not for long, but I think you'll be a better corner than being a better wide receiver. I mean, can rookies win MVPs?
I don't know, man. I don't think anybody ever has. Judy Batista, maybe it's just for clicks. Judy Batista of NFL.com. This is the last dark horse MVP candidate. I don't know how dark horse he could be since he was the reigning Super Bowl MVP. Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. Hurts was uneven last season, but finished second in MVP voting in 2022. Jalen Hurts has plenty of weapons in the passing game for the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Gobert. But with so much of the offense running through Barkley, Hurts might not be able to amass the type of stats that draw attention to the NFL MVP voters. Lambeau, Jalen Hurts, NFL MVP dark horse. What do you think?
I mean, the only reason why he ain't getting MVP is because Josh Allen had better numbers than he did. But, I mean, dude, this is based off numbers. But Jalen Hurts is eventually the better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. I think Josh Allen's better than Jalen Hurts just because he's more taller and he can run faster. He just has more size than Jalen Hurts. But it's based off stats. I mean, Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl. He's proved haters wrong. I guess they said he couldn't throw the ball deep, but you saw in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, they were just balling them in all areas, offensively and defensively. You know, Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator, and now they have a new offensive coordinator. I hope they don't change too much. I just keep the same thing going. So I don't think it's really a dark horse because he was second. If it wasn't based off stats, I mean, yeah, you could say Jalen Hurts was the MVP because he won the Super Bowl, but I don't consider that as a dark horse. I don't know what dark horse means. I'm not very smart, but like, what is dark horse? Like, he won the Super Bowl. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. NFL.com. Aaron Rodgers of the Pittsburgh Steelers says decision to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers says to sign with the Steelers was the best for my soul. It was the best decision for his soul to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. A big attraction was Mike Tomlin. Rodgers told reporters on Tuesday following his first mandatory mini camp with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've gone against Mike Tomlin over the years. The way that the conversation went between him and I, whenever it was in March or April, and the last Sunday when I called him, was some of the coolest conversations I had in the game. So Mike Tomlin is a big reason I'm here, and I'm excited to play for him. Aaron Rodgers said that it was the best decision for his soul to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. How do you feel about that, Lambeau? How do the Steelers do this year under the leadership of Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers?
Good God. We're speaking on this again. I mean, what? Good for your ayahuasca soul? I mean, I'm glad I'm out on ayahuasca. I'm glad I'm on a 58-day water fasting. I don't believe in ayahuasca. My point here is that they're not going to get any better. I understand he's a Hall of Famer, but have they got better on the offensive line? TJ Watt, by the way, is not at minicamp because he don't got a deal yet. So I don't know if they're going to sign him to a deal or if they trade him for draft picks. And me and the man from Seoul and Kirk keep saying the same thing. Like, what's the point of getting him if you keep going 9-8 and 10-7 and picking 20th or 21 in the draft and you can't get a quarterback? I mean, they could have drafted Shador, but they chose not to because he's not bigger than the NFL. But they got Will Howard as a 6th-round pick, which I think Will Howard's a great draft pick, But they're not winning anything with Mason Rudolph. So I guess that's telling you that Mike Tomlin is somewhat on the hot seat, even though the Pittsburgh Steelers don't really fire their coaches. They only have, 3 coaches? Was it Chuck
50
Noll?
years. In 50 years.
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. So they don't fire coaches at all. So I guess he's on the hot seat himself just because of the inconsistencies, at the quarterback play. But I mean, what is the offense going to be like? Is Aaron Rodgers going to call the plays too? Like, what's their?
Usually he likes to.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. If you had to pick between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers to quarterback your team this season, who are you picking? Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson?
Ooh, Russell Wilson.
Wow.
Well, it's just because he's a leader, but he's not controlling. You know what I'm saying? He's more like quiet, Yeah. He'll do. He's coachable. But I think when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, it's just a different situation. I mean, there's a reason why it didn't work out with the Jets so well. But we'll see. This is his last hurrah. And I'm not hating on Aaron Rodgers. I like Aaron Rodgers as a player. I love Aaron Rodgers. Even I'm not a big fan of the Green Bay Packers. I love Aaron Rodgers, but it's just it's the problem was, and the narrative is going to be this year, it's going to be all about him. So, like, whether they lose a game, they're going to blame it on him. Whether they win a game, he's either going to get the credit or the defense is going to get the credit because the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win games based off defense. But the way the Pittsburgh Steelers win games is just not good enough. It's not going to be successful. You're in the AFC North. It's going to be exciting for him to play Joe Burrow twice. It's going to be exciting for him to play Lamar Jackson twice. It's going to be exciting to play, I don't know, Joe Flacco.
Will he make it through the year uninjured?
I don't know. He came off an Achilles 2 years ago. That's tough. I mean, if Kirk Cousins can make it through an injury, then he possibly can. Yeah, take more ayahuasca. You'll be fine.
This just hit the presses at 9:58 p.m., published by NFL.com. The Green Bay Packers trying out wide receiver Bo Melton at cornerback following the release of Jair Alexander. Green Bay is seemingly flush with wide receiver talent. The Packers also moved on from 2-time Pro Bowl cornerback Jair Alexander this week. So Bo Melton's trying his hand at a position switch. Melton, a 2022 NFL draft 7th round pick of the Seattle Seahawks at receiver, got in some work at corner during Tuesday's first day of mandatory minicamp. We just thought if there's somebody that could potentially do both, he would be that guy, says the Green Bay Packers coach, Matt LaFleur. Lambo, how do you feel about Bo Melton going over and playing on the defensive side of the ball? That sounds like something Ernie Adams and Bill Belichick would have done with the New England Patriots back in the day. Are you surprised?
No, I mean they did the same. They did the same thing with Julian Edelman. If you want to talk about the Patriots, I mean he was a quarterback at Kent State, and they transitioned him to a wide receiver and a special teams guy. But look, you just really have to scout these guys. So Green Bay has always been good at drafting. They have a very good scouting department. So, he must have played cornerback, a little bit in college or a little bit in high school. So I'm not surprised about this transition right now, So I don't think there's maybe they could get Jalen Ramsey, but I mean, the Miami Dolphins going to want a certain amount of picks. It's going to be like how many picks are you willing to give up for Jalen Ramsey? I think Green Bay has good enough compensation.
Point.
They have good enough compensation, but it's just I don't know how many picks you're going to give up for Jalen Ramsey if the Miami Dolphins and the Green Bay Packers were to exchange a trade. So you just got to do what's best for the team right now. And I think the thing for Matt LaFleur that he knows how to make adjustments on the fly. So if he gets that work in, he'll be fine. We just got to see how it plays out towards mini camp in July and then go from the preseason to the regular season. We're going to see how he develops.
NFL.com is reporting that Kirk Cousins is moving forward in his role as the Falcons' backup quarterback for the 2025 season. Best laid plans for Kirk Cousins went awry with the Atlanta Falcons during his first season with the club and this past offseason. Man from Seoul. We are sitting here looking at NFL.com. Kirk Cousins moving forward in his role as the Atlanta Falcons backup quarterback for the 2025 season. He was quoted as saying, "We are moving forward now." Kirk Cousins said Tuesday at the Atlanta Falcons mandatory minicamp per the team's official website. Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year, $180 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons. Does that surprise you, man from Seoul?
No.
Kirk Cousins said that he is moving forward as the backup quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons.
No, I don't surprise me at all. He's there's only one person there making starter quarterback money, and it's him. But he doesn't have to play to get the paycheck. The guy that's starting is doing all the work. He just gets paid. Dude, he's in a great position. And then he's instant trade bait for anyone who loses their quarterback. He's just hanging out, man. He's chilling. That's he's got one of the best. He's got one of the best jobs in the league. If you ask me,
Lambo, how do you feel about Kirk Cousins saying he is moving forward as the backup quarterback with the Atlanta Falcons?
That's just him being a great human being and a great leader. I mean, when things didn't work out last year and they moved on for Michael Penix Jr. the last 2-3 games of the season, it just shows you how good of a teammate he is. Look, I ain't got no issue with this. You focus on the young guy. He clearly he didn't really fit the system of what Raheem Morris really wanted. But, they got a guy that's won games before in Kirk Cousins, but it didn't work out. So they got Michael Penix, and I guess going with a younger quarterback is going to make sense. But like I said, they're going to compete with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that NFC South division. So it's just mentor and guidance. And like I said, Michael Penix Jr. is going to take this all in once the season comes up. And I think he'll be fine.
Man from Seoul. According to the NFL, ex-Baltimore Raven and Los Angeles Charger J.K. Dobbins has signed a 1-year deal for $5.25 million with the Denver Broncos. J.K. Dobbins to the Denver Broncos. Was that a good move by Denver?
100%. Sean Payton is dialing this thing up like he did in New Orleans. J.K. Dobbins is the guy that he could he can run the ball, but he can catch the ball at the backfield. He's still explosive. Can make explosive plays out the backfield on little swing routes and in the passing game. So big pickup. When somebody's out there, and again, I know Alexander for the Packers is out there too, but that's a huge pickup for the Broncos. It gives Knicks another, a poor man's Alec Kamara to throw the ball to in the flats and let him go with it. That's a good pickup. He's a proven NFL player.
Lambo, how do you feel about the Broncos picking up J.K. Dobbins?
I like it a lot. I think the Broncos are going to be prepared to, make more moves. Maybe Jair Alexander will be in the fold, depending on, what the cap space is like. I think they're still paying Russell Wilson, if I'm correct, out of that big contract. But I like this. I like this. I really do. I think Sean Payton in year two, they're going to be cooking. I think the Denver Broncos are going to win at least 10 or 11 games. Look, let's look at the division. The AFC West is going to be between the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. I think in between those three teams in that same conference, they may at least combine for 30 or more plus wins. But I think I like the development of Bo Nix. When you have 6 years of, college and you're transitioning into the pro system, it just makes it easier for them. And they still got wide receivers out there. They still got a great solid defense. Look, don't be surprised if they win at least one playoff game next year. At least one.
All right, Lambo, I'm going to start off with you on this one because you are a New England Patriots fan. Now, the Patriots wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, prefers to keep personal life personal regarding his boat video with Cardi B and other females. New England Patriots wide receiver said, obviously, I wanted to get as candid with you guys as possible. Diggs told a scrum of reporters at the second day of the New England Patriots mandatory minicamp. I kind of have a thing where I don't talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally. I'm pretty sure everybody here, men and women, are great people, but I try to keep my personal life personal. I had a conversation with Vrabel. Obviously, I'm going to echo everything that he said. He told me he's hoping everybody's making good decisions. I had a conversation with people in the building as well. Everything else is everything else. The particulars is internal. How do you feel being a New England Patriots fan and having the huge distraction? I mean, when I think of diva receivers, I think of T.O. But I think Stephon Diggs may be one of the biggest all-time diva receivers. Does anybody that ever played with him like this guy? How does it feel, Lambo, to have Stephon Diggs on your team, the New England Patriots, and the distraction that he brings, and Cardi B?
Well, what he does it's not really personal if it's out there on the internet. And then what he does in his personal life ain't really got nothing to do with me or got nothing to do with us anyway. I think he's a great wide receiver. I think he was a great addition to Drake May. But look, I mean, it is what it is at this point. I'm glad that Mike Vrabel has really talked to him about it. I'm going to keep saying this and keep saying it again. He's more like Belichick and Parcells, but in a fun way. But he knows when it's time to work, it's time to work. Look, it's not. There's a lot of guys that have done worse. Aaron Hernandez has done worse. I mean, let's just go off that. He's done a lot of work.
Aaron Hernandez has
He's done a lot.
work.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not him going to a party on the boat. Okay, whether that's right or wrong, you do what you want to do. I mean, as long as you're not, disrespecting people, or as long as you're treating others the way you want to be treated, this doesn't bother me at all. Just don't make the same mistake twice.
Man from Seoul, I would like to hear your opinion on this. The Stephon Diggs and Cardi B circus. I mean, the Stephon Diggs circus has been in how many different cities? And hasn't worked out anywhere. Man from Seoul, what do you think about the Stephon Diggs and Cardi B New England circuit?
Just cut him. Just cut him. I don't have nothing else. He don't want to be. He doesn't want to be on that team and be part of the team and do team things. He talked to Vrabel. That don't mean nothing, dude. He's doing his own thing. Cut him. Put him on the street. See what he does. He ain't that great.
Wow. Myles Garrett, man from Seoul. Cleveland Browns Myles Garrett on Aaron Rodgers joining the NFC North. Good opportunity to put him in the graveyard. Myles Garrett is ready to crush division newcomer Aaron Rodgers. The Cleveland Browns pass rusher was asked on Tuesday about the 4-time NFL MVP joining the AFC North. What do I think about it? I think it's a good opportunity to put him in the graveyard, Garrett said of the latest Pittsburgh Steelers acquisition. Man from Seoul, who would you rather have as your quarterback, Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson?
Aaron Rodgers. And, I mean, he should know better of providing bulletin board material, because the last time I checked, the Cleveland Browns haven't done anything. And you're just adding fuel to the fire for the Steelers. No, because as soon as Rodgers carves up the Browns, he'll be the first one to know about it. Just be quiet. Why can't people just say nothing? Be quiet. Just be quiet.
Lambo, what do you think about Myles Garrett's quote of putting Aaron Rodgers in the graveyard?
How you gonna put him in the graveyard when you don't know who your starting quarterback is? How you gonna do that? I mean, they hadn't won nothing since Baker Mayfield was there. I don't know why they drafted 2 quarterbacks. You needed more than just 2 quarterbacks. You needed the offensive line. There was way more problems than just the quarterback. You needed the offensive line. It's not much to say for the Cleveland Browns. They don't win nothing for a reason. That's why they go through all these quarterbacks and all these coaches.
The Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud throws at minicamp and downplays any shoulder concerns. Man from Seoul, are you concerned about C.J. Stroud's shoulder issues?
No, until it becomes an issue. Again, he's a 2-time playoff participant at the quarterback position, entering the NFL. That's water under the bridge for me. He's made the playoffs 2 years in a row. I mean, how many first year, second year quarterbacks can say that? Not many. So he's not on my radar as far as bad stuff. He's on the good guy radar.
Man from Seoul, where does Jaire Alexander of the Green Bay Packers end up?
Well, I will say this. I don't know, but I will tell you this. I will tell you that it will not be a non-playoff contender. It will be a significant playoff contender. Maybe the
Lambeau.
Washington football team.
Lambeau, do you think that Jahmyr Alexander ends up with the Washington Commanders?
Maybe not. I'm gonna stick with what I said. He's probably maybe he'll go to the Ravens. They could probably use another corner. Possibly the Kansas City Chiefs can use another corner as well, and maybe the Los Angeles Rams. Those are my top 3 picks. And I know he wants the money, but like if the man from Soul said, playoff teams, I mean those 2 teams, the Ravens and the Chiefs and the AFC, I mean, they go to AFC championship games and Super Bowls, and then, the Rams, they could use somebody else because they got a really young roster. So whatever gives you the playoff success and the rings, those are my top 3 teams.
Terry McLaurin, wide receiver for the Commanders, is not in mini camp while seeking an extension. Man from Seoul, should the Washington Commanders be concerned that Terry McLaurin is not at minicamp?
No, they shouldn't be concerned because they're the ones who allowed him not to show up. You knew the guy wasn't going to show up. He didn't have an extension. He's going into the last year of his deal, and he's one of the heartbeats of the Commanders. This is again, hope, like we learned in the military, hope is never a method. The Washington Commander front office hoped that he was going to show up for training camp or mini camp. And when he didn't, now everyone's concerned about his contract. You should have put the cart before the horse. Like what? It's just big boo boo for the Redskins. They could have took care of this a couple weeks ago, and he would have been like, "Okay, I'm cool." But what you're telling him is you don't love him, you like him. You don't love him, you like him.
Lambeau, what do you think about Terry McLaurin? What should the Commanders do?
Sign him. I mean, Debo is not going to replace Terry McLaurin. I mean, Debo's injury is an injury-prone wide receiver, but also, I mean, it's the same thing with T.J. Watt did showing up. I mean, why are we not talking about T.J. Watt not showing up? He don't got an extension either. So, I mean, it's kind of somewhat of a similar situation, just with different players.
Man from Seoul, what should the Steelers do with T.J. Watt? Should they do the same thing that the Commanders do with Terry McLaurin?
No, and that's why he's not coming he's not showing up because he knows they have to pay him because they can't. I mean, if you trade him for, like, let's say a couple of linemen or one lineman and some draft picks, the Steelers need him more off the edge. Even though Rodgers is there, he's a needed commodity because who's their pass rusher if they trade him? So nobody. So he's just gonna sit around until you decide to pay me what I want. That's it. That's an easy one.
Lambeau, the Jacksonville Jaguars running back Travis Etienne blocking out trade chatter. I just have to control what I can control. What should the Jacksonville Jaguars do with running back Travis Etienne?
Well, keep him if you can't find another running back. I mean, their running backs are only somewhat a dime a dozen. I mean, he was hurt, most of last year. I mean, I don't know what Liam Coleman is going to do offensively when it comes regards to the offense. Like, is it's not just Travis Etienne, because mainly he's not going to be the guy to be talked about. It's mainly going to be Travis Hunter. They're going to talk about Travis Hunter more than talk about Travis Etienne. I think he should just keep working. It's not really too much to say about, trade rumors and all this other stuff. The question is, like, where is he exactly going to get traded to? That's my question.
Man from Seoul, what do you think the Jacksonville Jaguars should do with Travis Etienne?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. I mean, it's a 50-50 proposition for me. I mean, if you can get something for him right now, then I would. I mean, it's a new regime in there. And, I mean, if you think you have a chance to win this season, which I don't think so, they've got a lot of stuff to add. I mean, trade him to a contender that will give you picks. That would be my answer. Because Cohen's not going anywhere after year one. So get what you can get for him and get younger, because he's got some tread on the tires, because he's been in the league for just as long as Lawrence has. So, and you're not going to extend him and give him Saquon Barkley or lead running back money. Just start all over again at running back position and get a young guy in there that you're not paying, since you're paying Trevor Lawrence.
Lambo. What do we really know about Michael Penix Jr. coming into this season? Starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. What do we know about Michael Penix Jr.?
Well, I mean, when it comes to quarterbacks, I mean, I like left-handed quarterbacks. I mean, I like that. But he's got weapons, so there's no excuse for him to not be successful. He's got Kirk Cousins behind him as a mentor. They have, with the talent that they have and the way Raheem Morris has built that program. I mean, there's no
Blaine,
way.
What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Blaine. Blaine, we appreciate you commenting. The more comments you can put in there, the better. Michael Penix Jr., is he the answer for the Falcons, Lambo?
We're going to have to wait and see if he's the answer. I think he'll going to go through some struggles this year. He's in the NFC South. You got the Buccaneers, you got the Saints, you got the Carolina Panthers in that division. We're going to have to see how well he plays. But we don't know if he's going to be the answer yet until after maybe 2 or 3 years. But I don't think Raheem Morris is going to wait that long. But there's a reason why they traded up to draft him last year. There's a reason why.
Blaine, do you think Michael Penix Jr. is the answer for the Atlanta Falcons? Lambo, what team do you think had the best offseason? What team in the AFC do you think got better? Blaine says, no, I do not. Michael Penix Jr. is not the answer. Coach Bald, Tampa is the team to beat. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can I get a Ric Flair shout out? Yes, you may.
Woo!
I think you need this one too.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Yeah. Yeah.
Blaine says, I say they shop in free agency or trade. What AFC team, in your opinion, Blaine and Lambo or any other experts out there, put it in the chat. What AFC team had the best offseason? Coach Bald, fire emojis.
I think the New England Patriots, and I'm not saying that because I'm a fan. I'm just saying that because that's the most money we ever spent in free agency in a long time, in a very, very long time. I just like the way we attack, the defense side of the ball first. Then we attacked it with some offensive guys. Then we attacked it with, Morgan Moses, former Fort Union product, Meadowbrook High School. So I just like the way in all together that Robert Kraft said, go ahead and spend this money that we have. So it's going to have to be put together now. It's going to have to be put together. There's going to be no excuses why the Patriots can't be great. I guess there's some other teams as well that you put up there, but I think it's the Patriots just because of the amount of money they spend and, the key pieces that they got, and Mike Vrabel just knowing how to have a culture established in Tennessee, and he's bringing that to New England Patriots and a familiarity organization. I just can't.
Word of Elijah in the house.
It's got to be a mentality. Yes, sir. So when you come out here, you're ready to dominate. Let's go! Woo!
Word of Elijah probably has been the MVP since Totem Pole has came back. Man from Seoul. The question was, what team in the AFC had the best offseason? Blaine says the Panthers or Bears. Word of Elijah says the Panthers. Word of Elijah says Caleb wants out soon. I mean, he's only been there 2 years, hadn't he? Coach Bald said AFC team with the best offseason. Steelers getting A-Rod, making them an instant Super Bowl contender. Word of Elijah. What's going on, fellas? We're just trying to get up to 1,000 views because I had a great idea to come back on here tonight, and we're just trying to get every view that we can to get up to 1,000 views. But I got an all-star team here with Word of Elijah and Blaine. Man from Seoul, who had the best offseason? Panthers, Bears, Steelers, who?
No, AFC, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens, and here's why. Quietly, two acquisitions that I'm keen in with them is Malachi Starks in the draft from Georgia to put in that secondary. He offers position flexibility at safety and corner, and then number two, if I'm not mistaken, and his name is just befuddles me now. The receiver from the Chiefs, didn't he go to Baltimore?
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Number 10, the Clemson guy with the long hands.
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins. Those two moves right there. Again, they're quiet under the radar, but they didn't add to weaknesses. They just strengthened strong areas. Okay. And then number two, like the Patriots, I get spending money and all these acquisitions, but the last time I checked, when they had a lot of money, when Mac Jones was quarterback, they brought in two, not one, but two tight ends, and then the defensive end that's now playing down in Atlanta. And how'd that work out for Belichick? They spent a whole bunch of money when Brady left on that free agent class, and it didn't come to fruition. So spending money doesn't guarantee wins, and it doesn't guarantee playoffs position.
Blaine said the Pittsburgh Steelers getting Aaron Rodgers does not make them a contender because Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, is not good no more, no matter who you put around him.
That's not true. That's not a true statement. And I'm going to tell you right now, be careful. There's things that are going to be happening because I'm going to tell you right now, and Lambeau probably will tell you this too. There is no way. First of all, there is a way. There is no way that DK Metcalf's agent would trade him to Pittsburgh if he didn't know Aaron was coming. That's number one. Number two, there's no way that the Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to make another move at receiver. this summer. And be careful, WFT fans, because McLaurin could be on the move. Because you guys you're tiptoeing around with this kid. But he could end up on the Steelers next to DK Metcalf. I'm just saying. They're not finished acquiring talent at receiver. I just don't see it. And that's just not the DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers show.
Blaine said, I promise you this will be Mike Tomlin's first losing season in his career because of Aaron Rodgers. Lambeau, Steelers go 7-10. Do you agree with that?
No, they won't. No, they're not going. They're not having a losing season. They'll make the playoffs. I just don't know how.
I thought you said they weren't going to make the playoffs.
No, I meant the Cleveland Browns. I meant the Cleveland Browns. They'll make the playoffs. I just don't know how far they'll make it because, like the man from Soul says, I mean, keep going 9-8 and 10-7 just to pick 20 and 21. And what if you retire? You're going to end up in the same spot that you were, before. So, I mean,
Blaine,
doesn't really matter.
Stop lying to yourself, Lambeau. Word of Elijah. Steelers just don't have enough weapons.
Hold on. How am I lying to myself knowing they have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback? It's not Mason Rudolph. Like, I'm not lying to myself. It's what it is.
So Blaine and Word of Elijah. What are y'all thinking? What are you feeling about the NFL? Everybody's fired up. How about this?
I don't know. Lambeau just scratched the itch with me. And it scratched my nerve because I have to go back. And again, I like the Aaron Rodgers move, but I still don't know what the Steelers are doing. Like seriously, they're going to make the playoffs, but if they're picking 21, 22 again, what was the point of bringing Rodgers in? Like, you still have to figure out the QB position literally 12 months from now. Not even. Wait. The draft is in what? April, right? So we're like 10 months away. They're going to be in the exact same spot. Whether Aaron Rodgers wins the Super Bowl or they stink. So what is Pittsburgh doing? Like, I don't get it. You're the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have no future.
Blaine said they will stink. Here's a move. Devontae Adams going to the Rams. Will Devontae Adams be going to the Steelers?
No.
That's a sneaky one. Again, you talk about off-season move. That's a very sneaky, quiet, good pickup. Rams.
Blaine
That's a
said getting rid of Pickens was so dumb. Do you agree with that, Lambeau?
It's not just about Pickens. It's just about you don't have an offensive line anyway. And you don't really have that good of a secondary. You only have one pass rusher. So you're still at the same spot whether you keep them or release them.
Word of Elijah says they don't even know if they don't show good in the first half. They make ship DK off. Steelers. They may ship DK Metcalf off. So Devontae Adams to the Rams, man from Seoul. You think that was a good move by Sean McVay? Blaine says, actually, they got very good pass rushers.
Besides TJ Watt?
I mean, they look like all they draft is D linemen. Every time I see the Steelers draft, it's another D lineman. Highsmith, Watt, Cam Hayward. So you like Devontae Adams. Go ahead. Man,
no, I do. I mean, when you just look at what the Rams did last year and the fact that they took, they gave the Eagles a game at their place in the snow, and then you add Devontae Adams, and I mean, just without looking at stats, just the eyeball test, I'll take Devontae Adams over Cooper Kupp to put with Puka Nacua. Give me that over Puka Nacua and Kupp.
Chat. Devontae Adams or Cooper Kupp? Who are you taking?
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. Cooper Kupp, you know who he reminds me of?
Who?
He reminds me of like two people. Adam Thielen, because he slowed down because of injuries, and also the guy from Green Bay, from K-State. No. Jordy Nelson. Thank you.
Jordy Nelson.
Yes. Once they slowed down, the separation wasn't there anymore. And he's got the guile. Like, I like Cooper Kupp. Where did he go? I would have liked him running underneath for the Steelers.
Cooper Kupp went to Seattle.
Okay, well that's gonna be a huge problem for Darnold, because you go from Justin Jefferson to Cooper Kupp, and who else do they got? Because I know the other guy, he's out of there. 16.
Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, he's somewhere else in the league. Like, who are their receivers?
They ain't got nobody besides Cooper Kupp.
Okay, that ain't good.
So the Seahawks are just messed up. The word of Elijah says, "I'd rather have Cooper Kupp than Devontae Adams." That's what he says. The word of Elijah says, "I thought they'll never let Tyler Lockett walk."
That's not true. At this point, you can't. At this point, I mean, and both of them are older players. At this point, you can't say you would rather have Cooper Kupp over Devontae Adams. And I know they're both older players, but Devontae Adams is going to do way more for the Rams than Cooper Kupp has done in the last 2 years. Because, I mean, and again, McVay's not he's not a dummy. Oh, boy.
Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints? Man from Seoul. Hold on. Rest NFL says nah. Rest NFL. I think that's your first comment today. What are the Saints going to do, man? Man from Seoul. Rest NFL says Tyler Shows is the starting quarterback. Lambo. Blaine says Saints ain't winning a game. Rest NFL said they're desperate for a quarterback. Dude, Kamara, a solid. Lambo, what do you think about the New Orleans Saints?
I mean, we got to see what Kellen Moore does. I mean, they could have drafted Shador, but like we all said, Shador is not bigger than the NFL. Alvin Kamara probably needs to go, somewhere else if they don't win this year, based off injuries or whatever. I mean, I don't know what the Saints' potential really is. We just got to see how Kellen Moore, has it. I think if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, are they still like are they one of the teams that are like negative in the cap space?
Rest NFL said they had potential in Carr, but I agree. Man from Seoul. I think the Saints cap space.
I think it's in the negative. Or close to.
I'll look it up.
It's not good, ladies and gentlemen. It hasn't
Why
been
is it not good?
They just have totally mismanaged the whole salary cap. That dates back to when Drew Brees was there.
I like this take right here. I like this take by the word of Elijah. He says, I wanted the Rams to get Shador. Learn under Stafford a few years would be phenomenal along with that scheme. What do you think about that take, man from Soul? Should the Rams had drafted Shador to play behind Stafford and learn in that system?
Well, I mean, the opportunity was there because he went in the later rounds. However, and I'll beat this drum until hopefully it comes to fruition this season. And I get to see him start for the Browns, because if he starts for the Browns and they make the Steelers look bad, it's gonna. The Steelers franchise will be set back 10 years by not taking him. The Steelers have just got to hope that Shador Sanders is not a good player in the NFL. Because if he is, man, it's just going to be hard to get off that narrative, especially, I mean, just watching games, watching TV. If the Cleveland Browns take Pittsburgh's spot in that division, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. And I got a feeling, now that I've seen him and he's at OTAs, I'm not feeling it. It's making my stomach hurt, because Tomlin and them could have just easily, when they took that D tackle in the first round, it would, like Lambeau said, at 21. Dude, he fell in the draft. Just take him, and if it doesn't work out, no one's going to really beating them up, because everyone's expecting the worst. But if it turns into the best version, this is not going to be a good look in Pittsburgh.
Man from Soul. Blaine wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Colts with new owners?
My thoughts with new owners. My thoughts about the Colts, period, is it starts and it starts and ends with who's playing quarterback. That's this league. Anthony Richardson, is he your quarterback or is he not? Danny Dimes is there trying to find a rebirth like Baker Mayfield. Who is your quarterback? I don't even care if the people from Mars own the team. If you don't have a quarterback, what does it matter who's the new owners? Who cares? It doesn't matter.
The word of Elijah says Carr has never in life even been half of a consistent quarterback. Stafford only a few years left. Rest of NFL. Elijah, I kind of disagree, although he might have a bad season with the Rams. If Shador had gone to the Rams. The word of Elijah, I'm still confused by what you said. I explained it bad. Blaine said Danny Dimes. Word of Elijah, it's a wrap for Richardson. It just doesn't seem fitting and forced. Rest in the Phillips is similar to the Cleveland Browns situation. Man from Soul. Man from Soul. Does Matthew Stafford only have a few years left with the Rams?
Yeah, of course he does. He's ready. He was ready to walk away, and Sean McVay talked to him. So 1 year, 2 years best he has left.
The word of Elijah said the Browns are the best case possible. The word of Elijah said, at least they get to pick. Rest NFL said 100%. Lambo, who will be the starting quarterback game 1 for the Cleveland Browns?
Joe Flacco, because you're gonna bring in you brought in 2 veterans for a reason. You brought in Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco to battle it out. I know Joe Flacco's an older quarterback because it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be kind of like what most teams do. They start with a veteran and then they'll boo him and probably he'll not play good and they'll probably go to Pickett or they'll probably go to Shador or Dylan Gabriel. But I think they start with the veteran Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco starts week 1.
Word of Elijah says 1 to 2 years, then Puka is running routes on air. Laugh out loud. Blaine says Dylan Gabriel will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Rest NFL said, I think not of Joe. Word of Elijah, I wanted the Panthers to get Gabriel as a backup, maybe starter. Wow. Lambo, is Dylan Gabriel better than Bryce Young?
I don't know yet. We're going to have to see the eye test this year. I mean, Bryce Young has been in the NFL, I guess, 2 or 3 more years than Dylan Gabriel. He just got drafted this year, so that's not really a comparison we can make right now.
Word of Elijah says Gabriel is the sleeper in this draft, 2 to 3 years down the road. Blaine said nah. Word of Elijah said definitely not. Man from Seoul. Man from Seoul is Word of Elijah said he wished that the Panthers would have drafted Dylan Gabriel. Is Dylan Gabriel better than Bryce Young? Rest NFL said, Elijah, I don't think Gab's better than Bryce Young. Man from the word of Elijah.
I can't. Hold on. What just happened?
I don't know. I think Lambo left. Is Dylan Gabriel better than Bryce Young? Word of Elijah said competition is always good. Yes.
What? Wait a minute. Can I ask what just happened?
Nothing. I don't know. We're talking about the Panthers should have drafted Dylan Gabriel.
Wait, did the guy left?
Who's Lambo?
Oh,
maybe he needed to use the restroom.
But it's how he left.
Eli is on something. Yes. Elijah, I don't think Gabriel. Should the Carolina Panthers had drafted Dylan Gabriel? Okay. Rest NFL. Okay. So, but what is your favorite NFL team? My team used to be the Redskins, so I guess it's the Commanders. Word of Elijah said laugh out loud. Man from Seoul. Should the Carolina Panthers have drafted Dylan Gabriel to back up Bryce Young? The word of Elijah says, we stuck at drafting wide receivers, good at everything else. Man from Seoul. Man from Seoul is out. 10, 9. Blaine. Indy, baby. And speaking of Indiana, let's go Pacers. Lambo, tomorrow night we will be streaming the NBA Finals. The Pacers versus the OKC Thunder. What can you tell us about Game 3 of the NBA Finals?
It's going to be very competitive. Indiana, after the blowout loss on the road against OKC, both teams got some rest. They're going to make some adjustments. I think Indiana is going to take a Game 3. This might end up being a 6-7 game series. Just both of these teams are going to go, fast pace. They're probably going to, hit the over tomorrow. I think the Indiana Pacers are going to come back and make the adjustments they need to make. OKC, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA from the University of Kentucky. He's going to get his buckets any kind of way he wants. But the question is, it's going to be the amount of turnover. It's going to be how you stop them, and then who shoots the best and who can finish the game. If you let Indiana hang in there, you got to finish them. But I think Indiana will take the game at home tomorrow, Game 3.
Word of Elijah says Panthers. Word of Elijah said, I'm taking the -5.5 all day. Laugh out loud. Blaine, I will be in the stream tomorrow. That is great. Blaine, Word of Elijah, you guys are the best. And this is for you. Word of Elijah said, that's like candy from a baby. Blaine says Pacers 112, Thunder 105. Word of Elijah, double-digit win by OKC. Word of Elijah, it'll be so quiet in Indiana, you'll hear a pin drop. No amount of adjustments can help the Indiana Pacers. They just don't have enough. Lambo. Word of Elijah says OKC losing by 7, but I'm on drugs. Laugh out loud. Is there any way that the Pacers can win tomorrow night?
Yeah, stay ahead on schedule for OKC. Meaning you're gonna have to go fast. Don't play half-court basketball. You have to go fast. You're gonna have to get Siakam more of the ball and Obi Toppin, get them involved in the game. Get Miles Turner some space. Make sure that Tyrese Halliburton is not trying to be a hero. Spread the ball out, and then make sure your key guys play as well. It's all going to be about execution, So take good quality shots. But like with OKC, it might just be like Game 1. They could possibly steal Game 3, and maybe Indiana wins Game 4. I just have a feeling that this might be a 6 or 7 game series.
Blaine says, yes, Halliburton just can't be crap. Lambo. Halliburton or SGA? Who are you taking?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Chat. SGA or Halliburton? My son loves Halliburton. He's a rising 9th grader. And we're about 180 views from 1,000. So, guys, keep chatting. Let's get this to 1,000 views because Lambo will not tap out. Look at him. That is the amount of toughness that is not found much anymore today and people his age. Word of Elijah, Halliburton is an assist demon. He's not like that. Them shots at the end overshadows his actual play. Not that he's bad. He's just not that good. Clutch indeed. Blaine said SGA, duh, MVP. Word of Elijah, MVP for a reason. Please, no. Word of Elijah, I think we need to analyze what the MVP / scoring champ actually did. So what's up with all these people saying that Joker should have won the MVP? Lambo, why should Joker not have won the MVP?
Joker has won the MVP 2 years in a row, And clearly, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was the best player this year as far as points, assists, steals. He was also a great defender. Jokic already won the joint twice, So I think when it comes to SGA, I wouldn't compare him to Kobe, but he's like a faster version of DeMar DeRozan, the mid-range game, creating space and things like that. But, I mean, Jokic already won 2 in a row. I mean, I think he's won 3 out of the last 4 years. So it's time for SGA to, get his flowers.
Word of Elijah said it's a toss-up. They're both great. Blaine said he is the MVP. But there was a lot of people that came on the show recently that said that Joker should have been the MVP, that SGA should not have won the MVP. Blaine said, like I said on Sunday, Lambeau did SGA average a triple-double. So, Blaine, you're saying that Joker should have been the MVP, correct? Word of Elijah said it's just preference. Blaine said yes. So Blaine believes that Joker should have been the MVP, not SGA. Lambeau, the NBA Finals, Tyrese Halliburton, SGA, the Pacers, the OKC Thunder. Everybody's fired up for the NBA Finals on YouTube. I mean, Game 3, the series is 1-1, tied up between the Indiana Pacers and the OKC Thunder. Are you excited for tomorrow night, Lambeau?
Yeah, I'm excited about the energy and the atmosphere of both of these teams. Both of these teams are very young. Both of these teams are very fast. And shout out to NBA 2K25, Jason Tatum on the cover. NBA 2K26, I don't know if you could pre-order it yet, but it'll be out sometime in September. I just think, the ratings may not be up there, but this is one of the finals that you don't want to miss out on. SGA versus Tyrese Halliburton. But also these coaches, you got Rick Carlisle, who's already been in the NBA Finals with the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. When he had Jason Kidd, he had Jason Terry, he had Dirk Nowitzki, he had Sean Marion, he had Tyson Chandler. So I think the Indiana Pacers are going to win Game 3 just because, Rick Carlisle has already made, the adjustments that he has to make in order to possibly win the series. I think, like I said, I'm going to keep saying the same thing. I did say the Indiana Pacers are going to win the series, but it's going to be like Kirk Winter said, it might end up being a 6 or 7 game series, and I guess that's what brings the ratings. You don't want a quick, like last year with the Mavericks and the Celtics, even though you had the players, like the Jason Tatum and Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, like the series in 5. I think if you, as far as ratings and the pattern of the NBA, the product is not the same. You want to probably send that finals to at least a Game 6 or a Game 7.
Can Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers pull off the NBA Finals upset versus the OKC Thunder? Rest NFL said, I'm back. Well, Rest NFL, this is for you. Tomorrow night will be a historic night in NBA Finals history as the OKC Thunder battle the Indiana Pacers. Who on the Pacers team, Lambeau, needs to step up other than Tyrese Halliburton? The word of Elijah says they can't but won't. They'll meet the juggernaut tomorrow. What players need to step up? Word of Elijah said message game. What players on the Indiana Pacers, coached by Rick Carlisle, need to step up other than Tyrese Halliburton. Word of Elijah says SGA is going to score 45.
Pascal Siakam, he's got to get at least about 20. Obi Toppin has to be consistent with his shooting. TJ McConnell, with the defense that OKC runs and the way they have their sets on defense, they're going to leave them open. So if they're going to leave you open, you better just make the shot. So those are the two main guys that need to step up. Miles Turner, he's got his points, but I guess he can be more efficient from the three-point line. Also, your mismatch is Chet Hollinger, so, I would be getting very, very physical inside. So those are the guys that really need to step up for game 3 tomorrow.
The word of Elijah says SGA 45, Williams 22 plus. Word of Elijah says Siakam needs 30, Miles needs 18 plus. What players for the OKC Thunder need to step up other than SGA, Lambo?
Lou Dort, but Lou Dort's more of a defensive guy. He could contribute to as far as the points. Williams can step up as well, but I think the main guy that really needs to step up is Chet Holmgren. He played better in game 2, but just, when you're tall like that, and also Caruso, those guys need to step it up. Chet and, Caruso and also Lou Dort on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense is already, fine as it is, but they just got to make sure that they're consistent, because SGA is going to get his 30. He's going to get his 35 points. But like we saw in game 1, he scored 35 or 38. But when you let them hang on and hang on and hang on, it wasn't good enough.
Word of Elijah said the Pacers need to work down low to win and apply pressure. The word of Elijah says Chet and Caruso. All right, I'm going to visit the NBA.com real quick. NBA Finals MVP ladder. SGA races to the number 1 spot. If SGA wins the NBA Finals, Lambo, does SGA propel himself to one of the top 3 players in the NBA?
Talk about top 3 right now or top 3 of all time?
Top 3 right now. Top 3 right now.
Probably in the top 5. I wouldn't say the top 3, but definitely if SGA wins the NBA Finals, he's going to be the face of the league, along with, Ant Edwards and other guys that are going to be the face of the league. But I don't think he's going to be top 3. He's at least top 5.
Great point by Word of Elijah. Word of Elijah says, just keep an eye for Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers playing hero ball early. 4 things to watch as series shifts to Indy for game 3. Excitement is high for Indiana as the Pacers take on the Thunder in the team's first NBA Finals home game in 25 years. Wow. Does that make a difference tomorrow night, Lambo, that the Pacers will be playing their first NBA Finals home Finals game in 25 years? The pressure pack is on at home. Word of Elijah says OKC doesn't feel pressure. They apply it. Does it matter tomorrow that the game is at Indiana?
Well, the crowd is great, but both of these teams have, OKC has won games on the road. Indiana has already stole the game 1 at OKC, so I don't think OKC will probably apply the pressure by then, but they just have to stay ahead on schedule. You're going to have to be very physical with them on defense. You're going to have to make Shea uncomfortable, but I just think Shea's still going to get his 30 or 35 points. But I think one of these teams, it might end up being 2-2 by the end of game 4, but if Indiana really wants to win the series, you better be up 3-1.
Four things to look for in game 3 according to NBA.com writer Steve Ashburner. Number one, the Indiana Pacers eat when SGA sits. Indiana needs to make the Thunder's non-SGA minutes into a thing in this series. One of the more accessible analytical tools introduced in recent years has been on and off numbers, which track a team's efficiency when a certain player is on the floor versus how it plays when he is on the bench. Lambo, is this something that you have been aware of, that Pacers eat when SGA sits? The word of Elijah, just keep an eye out for my pen emoji tomorrow when it's quiet. Word of Elijah, the crowd will start off awesome. Lambo, you are a basketball guy. That was your sport. Were you aware of this analytics of the Pacers eat when SGA sits?
Yeah, but I mean, OKC has a good bench already. But they need to take advantage of that tomorrow in the home crowd. They really didn't take much advantage of that game 2 in OKC because they were just running and gunning. You're going to have to prevent them from running and gunning. But, I mean, it's going to be hard because most of these teams are both fast-paced teams anyway. So, yeah, they're going to have to take really advantage of that. But you're really going to have to be up. You got to get off to a fast start. You're really going to have to be up by 20 or 25-plus points. In order to beat OKC, I don't think you can keep it close. You're going to have to blow them out at least by double digits.
Number 2 thing to look for in tomorrow night's game, Tyrese Halliburton plays more aggressively. It's tricky for a player such as Tyrese Halliburton to impose his will on a game because he's a pass-first point guard. He relies on his teammates to get open and hit shots, if only in spurts to open opportunities for himself as a scorer. He isn't a volume shooter like SGA. The word of Elijah says that crowd is going to be the downfall of Tyrese Halliburton. The moment will be too big. Do you agree, Lambo, that this moment is too big for Tyrese Halliburton?
No. He's done it before. It's not luck. He's done it more than 3 times. But I don't agree that he's the most clutch player in the playoffs. I mean, there's been more guys that still play today that are more clutch. When you say clutch, I refer to clutch as Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant has always been, clutch. So I'm just from a different era of, basketball. He made his shots and I respect him for it, but I wouldn't say he's the most clutch guy in the playoffs or in this era of basketball. There's been more guys that done it. He just got to not jack a bunch of shots. He just has to go within the flow of the offense, and then he'll be fine.
Word of Elijah says he now feels he has to live up to the hype and show up at home. Number 3 thing it says on NBA.com, Chet Holmgren's defense goes beyond rim. Chet Holmgren, the Thunder's gangly big man, didn't play well in the finals opener. He increased his impact considerably in game 2, which went well beyond his 15.6 rebounds and 1 block shot. The 7'1", 208-pound Holmgren showed defensive prowess in just about every form and situation asked of him Sunday. Has Chet Holmgren, Lambo, lived up to the hype?
He still has to develop. And number one, the thing that he has to develop, and he has to get bigger in the weight room. He's just skinny, so he has a little to the hype just yet, but the series is far away from being over. We're only in game 3. Tomorrow is at 8:30, presented by the NBA Finals on YouTube TV. So the series is a long way from being over. Has he reached expectations? No, but I mean, OKC is going to be fine. I mean, he just hasn't exceeded expectations just yet. It's only 2 games. Everybody's going to make adjustments, and then for the last 4 games of the series, everybody's going 5 games of the series or whoever it goes to, the first one to 4. everybody's going to ball out.
Blaine says we can't let OKC bench outscore the Pacers by 16 bench points again. Number 4, listen for the whistles. Plenty of Pacers fans felt OKC was permitted to play its physically handsy style of defense in its 2 home games, while Indiana didn't get nearly the same latitude. That might be fan speak, of course, though it's possible each team's reputation subtly influenced some of those calls. Blaine, we can't let yeah, we said that. I've read that one. The word of Elijah, I don't think OKC's bench will play much tomorrow. OKC will look to stamp this game ASAP. Lambo, do you agree with NBA.com writer that said that plenty of Pacers fans felt OKC was permitted to play its physically handsy style of defense in its 2 home games, while the Indiana Pacers didn't get nearly the same latitude? Word of Elijah says, let's not act like the series shouldn't be 2-0. Do you agree with the Pacers fans, Lambo, that the referees didn't call it right the first 2 games?
Well, if the referees don't like you in general, I mean, it doesn't matter what happens in the NBA. I mean, calls are always going to be missed regardless. You know, you just got to move on from them. You know, that can't be an excuse. You know, you had a chance to, you know, you got your game 1 in, you got blown out game 2. You know, everybody's going to miss calls. You know, it is what it is. You just have to overcome them. You have to get better. You know, the home crowd is always going to get the calls, and the away team is not. It's always been like that. It's not going to change.
As a Pacers D, word of Elijah says true. Wow. They've already came out with the 2025 NFL draft previews. Who goes number 1 in the NBA draft? The word of Elijah, how is it supposed to be? You're at home for a reason. Lambo, who goes number 1 in the NBA draft?
Cooper Flag?
Cooper Flag. Chat.
Cooper Flag.
Do y'all agree that Cooper Flag out of Duke will go number 1 to the Dallas Mavericks? They already have the 2025 draft. Thunders bounce back. What about this Wembyana? Wembyana visiting a Shaolin temple in China. Did you see this, Lambo? Spurs star Victor Wembanyama heads to a Shaolin temple in China. The Spurs all-star big man is in China during the NBA offseason for a 10-day stay. The word of Elijah says, no way he doesn't. They'll call it a Shador job if he go 1.5. Blaine, as a Pacers fan, I think the refs did pretty good in games 1 and 2. My bad for the mistype on as a Pacers D. Lambo, how do you feel about Victor Wembanyama heading to a Shaolin temple in China?
There's really not much to say on that. You know, he goes on vacation. He does what he wants. I mean, he's not from the States. I think he's from another country. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, he's the tallest person in the NBA. So he's going to get clicks. He's going to get bait. But, you know, China is a good place to go. You know, I need to go to China sometime. I got my passport.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to China. I love Chinese food.
Yes. And Victor Wembanyama's probably eating some Chinese. Is his nerves better? I agree. He grew 2 more inches, so he's 7'6" now. Wow. Victor Wembanyama is 7'6" now. That is crazy. Lambo, did you know that Victor Wembanyama, the Spurs star, grew 2 more inches?
Yes.
Word of Elijah says, no way. Victor Wembanyama. Man. Word of Elijah, Blaine. What are you guys thinking? Are y'all excited about the Word of Elijah says yes with the shoes? Is his nickname the Alien? Victor Wembanyama. Is he the Alien? And how did he get that nickname?
I don't remember.
Is it because he looks like an alien, or is he actually an alien?
He's tall. He's tall, and when you look at Wemby, he's just tall and skinny. You know, tall and skinny at 7'6". You know, just tall and skinny. You know, he's built a little bit more muscle, but you know, I think he needs to be more mean.
Ooh, Word of Elijah agrees. He's just too nice for me. So he's basically soft. What was the question, Troy? The question was, how did he get the nickname the Alien? How did Victor Wembanyama get the nickname Alien? Not an ounce of dog in him. Good player, though. We're at 893 views, man. We got to get to 1,000. Lambo will not tap out. He is too tough. Lambo, what do you have to do tomorrow?
Work out.
So you have to be at a school at what time?
No, I work out at 5 in the morning.
Okay, so you're going to wake up at 5 in the morning and you're going to go work out. Word of Elijah said, great.
And then
so then you go to school and you have to have a meeting?
Well, I guess it's work out for about an hour or whatever, or I might work out at 4. That depends on how I feel. And then we'll go probably got about an hour, 2 hours. I'm already ahead of most of my assignments. I probably just got to do 1 or 2. They not really catch up, just do 1 or 2 that are due this week. Probably catch up on that, and then go to the third day of the youth camp for the kids. It's about 45 minutes. And then we have a long staff meeting that I think is after the camp. I think it's at about 10:30 tomorrow. So, you know, that's just how my day is going to go. And then, you know, we'll get better each and every day, you know, Oh, no, that's not 14. We'll get better every day at Virginia State. Sorry.
Blaine says he got the nickname Alien because when he came to the NBA, nobody saw anything like him or that height. Blaine, thank you very much for that. You're going to get a helmet sticker. Lambo, we are at 900 views. We need to get 100 more views because we're not going to tap out because we got to get 1,000 views on the stream. This is the great idea that I had, which wasn't a great idea. But what can you say about the process, Lambo, of YouTube? Anybody that's out there that wants to learn about YouTube?
Well, when it comes to YouTube is the best platform in America, along with YouTube TV. We believe that should be big time YouTubers, big time content creators, and I forgot the other part. But we believe that we help others. Yeah, we believe that you'll be big time live streamers, big time YouTubers, and big time content creators. Remember, subscribers of Totem Pole Nation. We want to help others. We want to change lives. We want to build champions. Also, 95% of those that subscribe here on Totem Pole Nation will get nothing but the truth. We are the low man on the totem pole. We believe in your mission to become great. Let's chase greatness, but grind now, shine later.
Yeah. Grind now, shine later. Man, what a blessing it is. Let me see here. I'm going to go through some of these pictures. Okay, let me show y'all some of these things here. These are some of the graphics we used to make for some of our totem polers. This might throw back some memories here.
Bentley is in the house.
What team is that? What team did Bentley like, Lambo? You need me to play it again?
Play it again.
Bentley is in the house.
Texas A&M Aggies, the 12th man.
The 12th man. All right, here we go, man. You ready for the next one?
Yes.
MK is in the house.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, former head
Very
coach.
good.
Yeah, well, not former head coach Mike Tomlin, EA Sports Electronic Arts, Madden NFL 26.
Gator is in the house.
Where has Gator been?
Florida Gators, SEC.
Florida Gators.
EA Sports Electronic Arts, NCAA 26.
And this one right here, this is the guy that used to be Chiefs Kingdom, but changed his name to Jets Gamer.
Chiefs is in the house.
Here you go. Here's another one.
Elizabeth is in the house.
Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson.
Frosty is in the house.
NFC South, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. Look, Lambo, do you remember Frosty? Whatever happened to Frosty?
He might have got Aiden. I don't know. You know, there's a Frosty eat at Wendy's. He probably got Aiden.
Here you go. Here's the next one. This guy, I know you will remember this guy.
Oreo is in the house.
Oreo is in the house.
Oreo is in the house.
Oh, man.
Where's Oreo? Oreo is in the house. Oreo, where are you?
He probably got
Oreo is in the house.
He probably got bitten by a shark again.
When I show you the video, you need to tell me what was the score of the, and you guys that are watching, y'all can Google this to verify. When I show you the NFL team, you need to tell me the score of the last two times they played in the Super Bowl. All right, you ready? Here we go.
Elizabeth is in the house.
All right, well, Ravens, they won the Super Bowl 2012. They played the San Francisco 49ers, 4th and goal at the 2-yard line and tried to throw to Michael Crabtree. They won 34-31 in a blackout Super Bowl.
That was okay. So what was the score before that one? You have to tell me the last two Super Bowls.
Oh, well, they won the Super Bowl in 2000 against the New York Giants, and Jim Fossil was 34-7.
Okay. So here's the next one. Are you ready?
Chiefs is in the house.
They just lost the Super Bowl 40-22 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Then they won the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs 26-23.
Okay. Is anybody still on here that can verify that he is correct? All right, so here we go.
Oreo is in the house.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl 2020 against Kansas City Chiefs 31-9. Before that, John Gruden was the head coach in 2002. They traded picks for him. They beat the Rich Gannon, the Oakland Raiders 48-22. Derrick Brooks, I think, had a pick six to seal the game or something like that.
Wow. Okay, here you go. This is the next one.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs.
Well, I mean, New York Giants, they won the Super Bowl in 86. I don't know the score of that one. They won the Super Bowl in 1990. They beat the Buffalo.
The last two Super Bowls that the Giants won, what was the score?
1990 was 20-19 against Buffalo. 2007 was New England Patriots 14-17. And 2011 it was 21-17.
Okay. Let me see here. That one. Those guys hadn't won a Super Bowl. All right. Anybody in the chat? Lambeau has memorized every Super Bowl score over the last 25 years. So since the 21st century has started. And he can give you the score of any Super Bowl from the last 25 years. In the chat, if you put the name of the team or the year, if it's within the last 25 years, he can tell you what the score was. Is there anybody that would like to test him? Okay, I'll test him. The Rams. Give me the score of the last Super Bowl the Rams played in.
2021 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Cooper Kupp touchdown, second and goal at the 1 yard line. The score was 23-16.
All right, he is not Googling this. The Eagles. Give me the last two scores of the Eagles Super Bowls.
Well, they just won the Super Bowl 40-22 against the Kansas City Chiefs, and then the last time they won the Super Bowl, they beat the Patriots 41-33.
Nice. Anybody else in the chat? You can put a year. He also knows years. If it's within the last 25 years. Okay, here's the year. 2009.
New Orleans Saints versus the Indianapolis Colts. Jim Caldwell, first-year head coach. Peyton Manning versus Drew Brees. Final score, Saints 31, Colts 17. Tracy Tracy Morgan touchdown. I think it's the corner. He ran a pick six back for a touchdown.
Blaine said the Steelers.
2008. They beat the Arizona Cardinals 27-23. San Antonio Holmes toe tap catch with 23 seconds left in the game, or it might have been 30, and they had to review it forever.
Panthers
ain't really won.
I know they never won one, but when was the last time they played in the Super Bowl? What was the score?
2015 Denver Broncos. Peyton Manning's final year. The score was 24-10. Cam Newton got strip sack, and the rest is history.
The Titans.
There was 23-16, 1999. Dick Vermeer accidentally retired, and Jeff Fisher was the head coach, and they were 1 yard short of the goal line, or 2 yards short by sticking the ball out. Should have just ran in the end zone.
The Raiders.
2002, they lost to Tampa Bay Buccaneers 48-22. They got smacked by John Gruden and his former team. John Gruden coached Rich Gannon with the Oakland Raiders.
The Arizona Cardinals.
Well, last time they've been in the Super Bowl, 2008, lost to the Steelers 27-23. Kirk Warner was the quarterback. Larry Fitzgerald was a young wide receiver, and the head coach was Ken Wisenhunt.
How about 49ers?
Score was.
He said, "What was the final score of the Raiders?" He must have caught you. He must have caught you, man.
How you catch me? It was 48-22. That's the last time he been in the Super Bowl. The Raiders ain't been in the Super Bowl in 23 years.
Are you confirming that, Blaine?
Look it up. 48-22. The Raiders ain't do nothing.
48-21, he says.
Oh, well, one score difference. Oh, well. I missed
Man, Blaine.
I missed about 1 point.
Blaine, I think you get a prize. I think you get a prize for that. Yeah, you got to get something, man. Let's see what I got here. Blaine doesn't like the Patriots, does he? But here's Oreo.
Oreo is in the house.
What happened to Oreo? We will never know. How about this, Lambo? You start from 2000 and go all the way to 2025. Every score and who won the Super Bowl. That right there will get us at least 70 views. That will put us to 1,000. If you can do that, I'm pretty sure. From 2000 to 2020.
2000, Giants, Ravens, 34-7. 2001, Patriots, Rams, 2017. 2002, Tampa Bay Raiders, 48-21. 2003, Carolina and Patriots, 32-29. 2004, Eagles and Patriots, 24-21. 2005, Pittsburgh and Seattle, 21-10. 2006, the Colts and the Chicago Bears, 29-17. 2007, Patriots, Giants, 17-14. 2008, Steelers, Cardinals, 27-23. 2009, Colts, Saints, 31-17. 2010, Steelers, Packers, 32-25. 2011, Giants, Patriots, 21-17. 2012, Ravens, 49ers, 34-31. 2013, Seattle versus the Broncos. I think it was 43-8. Nobody remembers that game. 2014, Patriots, Seahawks, 28-24. 2015, Carolina and Denver. It was 24-10. 2016, the greatest comeback of all time. Patriots, Falcons, 34-28. James White toss play on 2nd and goal at the 2-yard line. 2017, Patriots, Eagles, 41-33. Nick Foles, what they call Philly special. 2018, Rams and Patriots, Los Angeles Rams, 13-3.
Blaine said you missed 2010.
No, I didn't. I said 2010. It was
2010. What was the 2010?
It was Steelers and Packers, 32-25. I didn't miss 2010. Now I'm lost. Okay, so 2018, you got to make sure you listen. 2018, Steelers, Rams.
Packers 31. You said 32. Yeah.
It was 32. I know it was 30. They went for 2. It was 32. They only lost. They lost by 7. They lost by 7, dog. They didn't lose by 6. They lost by 7.
I think. Well, I'm about to Google that. Packers.
I think they lost by 7.
Packers and who?
Steelers. It was a 2010 Super Bowl or 2010 season because people will mix. It was
Packers
Super Bowl was played in 2011, but it was 2010. 2010.
The score, what did you say the score was?
I said 32-25.
Yeah, it's 31.
Okay, I was wrong.
31-25. Blaine, right. I think Blaine gets something else for that.
Frosty is in the house.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't commit a crime. It is what it is. Oh well. 2000,
Yeah.
2019. 2019 was Chiefs and 49ers. I think it was 31-20. That's when Richard Sherman was with the 49ers. That was the Chiefs' first Super Bowl. 2020 was the Bucks and the Chiefs again, 31-9. 2021 was the Rams and Bengals. It was 23-16. 2022 Super Bowl, Chiefs and Eagles. I think it was 35-32. It was a close game. Yeah. Or no, 38-35. It was 38-35 because of the PI call that y'all complained about. 2023. You might got me on 2023. It's not in my head right now. 2023.
Blaine said almost got you.
No. You didn't get me there. I have to think. Hold on. You didn't get me there. I had to think. Oh, okay. I got it. Chiefs and 49ers. You didn't get me there. I had to think about it. Chiefs 49ers. I think Marquez Valdez-Scantling scored the game-winning touchdown. I think the score was 26-23. And last year's Super Bowl was the Eagles and the Chiefs. It was 40-22.
Wow. That's an impressive talent you have.
Not really. I guess you just rewatch certain stuff over and over again.
25-22, Blaine says.
Oh, well. 25, 26, they're all the same.
His brain is fried. We've been going for 3 hours and 40 minutes. And we complained, said that we worked hard. We only went, 2 hours earlier? We went 2 hours earlier and got 2,000 views, and we're going to go 4 hours and get 1,000. And we complained. Blaine said Chiefs won 20-24.
Well, technically, it was the 2023 season. I go by the season. I don't go by the year they played the Super Bowl.
You go by the season.
Well, technically, it's a 2023-24 season. Just like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it was 2025. No, it was the 2024 season. It started in 2024. But it is what it is.
Yes. Man, we are blessed. Are we not blessed? Let's look here. We help others. We change lives. Here's one. Messi or Ronaldo? Messi or Ronaldo? Messi or Ronaldo? I know there's some football fans out there, some soccer fans. Who is better, Messi or Ronaldo? Messi or Ronaldo? Blaine says Ronaldo. Lambo, who do you say?
Ronaldo. I don't watch soccer like that, but I think it's Ronaldo. But I think it's Ronaldo. Or I guess between those two guys, it's like almost a hard comparison just because it's soccer is more of a team sport, but I think those two guys have different styles.
Messi or Ronaldo? That's always a question that gets people fired up. Lionel Messi. Let me see if I can find something about Messi. Lionel Messi. Messi or Ronaldo? Both Lionel Messi and Ronaldo have both achieved remarkable success in their careers. Messi has won the League One title, but struggled to settle down in a less competitive league. Ronaldo has scored more goals, hat tricks, long-range goals, and free kicks. In the UEFA Champions League, Ronaldo has been more successful with multiple titles? Cristiano Ronaldo sent Club World Cup warning as Lionel Messi has record in sight. Let's see here. Cristiano Ronaldo sent Club World Cup warning as Lionel Messi has record in sight. The Argentine superstar is geared up to take part in the revamped FIFA showpiece with Inter Miami, which kicks off Sunday, June 15th. Messi is bidding to add to his 3 Club World Cup winners' medals with Inter Miami. Messi's side will be of 32 teams from across the globe competing in the new format summer showpiece in the United States. The Premier League will be represented by Manchester City and Chelsea, with the likes of Real Madrid. Blaine says Messi or Ronaldo is like LeBron James and Michael Jordan. That is an excellent point. LeBron James or Michael Jordan. That's always a great question to ask. LeBron James or Michael Jordan. Blaine, who do you say? Put it in the chat, y'all. LeBron James or Michael Jordan. Lambo, who do you say?
Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. It's not even close, man. Like, it's not just a basketball thing. It's more of a generational thing. It's more of when you look at it in perspective, which shoe are you buying when you go into the store? Are you buying LeBrons or are you buying Jordans?
I don't know anybody that's ever bought a pair of LeBrons.
Exactly. So you're buying Jordans. Jordan is a name brand. And what Michael Jordan has done and what he has accomplished, nobody else will ever accomplish in the league again. And also his competition, you know. LeBron had a little bit of competition, but not as much as Jordan. Like, you're running into the 90s Indiana Pacers. You're running into, the Houston Rockets. They were good back in the 90s, but also the bad boy Detroit Pistons and Isaiah Thomas. So you was really going at it, man. And I really hate this debate. These kids don't know nothing about Michael Jordan, and they say the reason why LeBron's the GOAT because he scored more points than MJ. But just imagine if he ain't played baseball. He'll probably win about 8 rings if he ain't played baseball, or maybe he'll win 11 rings like Bill Russell. Well, I guess we'll never know, but that's up to God.
I guess we will never know. Is it LeBron or is it Michael Jordan? That is the question. That is the question that we're going to end this almost 4-hour live stream with. Is it Michael Jordan or is it LeBron James? Put it in the chat. Blaine, why do you say Jordan? Please put it in the chat. Because a lot of people are offended that Michael Jordan, people say Michael Jordan is better than LeBron. And a lot of these young guys, that's really upsetting to them. They don't agree. These young guys think that LeBron James is better than Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Blaine said, I am a 14-year-old, and I think MJ is the GOAT. And all the kids try to argue. Wow. Man, I tell you, Blaine, you're becoming the MVP of Totem Pole. I mean, we're sitting here trying to get 1,000 views. You're a 14-year-old. You know more sports than grown men. So LeBron or Jordan? Where is LeBron? There he is. LeBron James. LeBron or Michael Jordan? Man, we're at 982 views. Lambo, are you going to tap out?
No.
You want to get 1,000. That's our goal, isn't it? To always get 1,000.
The goal is to get better each and every day. That's the process.
We got to get better. Don't worry about the number. Don't be worried on the outcome. Worry about the process. Grind now, shine later. LeBron James or Michael Jordan? That is the question. We're at 986. Lambo, can you make it? We only need to get 14 more views. Are you getting up at 5 a.m.? I mean, Blaine says, he has longevity, passing, rebounds, and scoring, but Jordan is overall better. I totally agree. LeBron James or Michael Jordan? That's the final question of the night. How many people, Lambo, try to argue with you that LeBron is the GOAT? Is LeBron the GOAT or is Michael Jordan the GOAT?
Too many these young cats, that are in college or coming out of high school, they don't know nothing about basketball. It's the people at work and things like that as well. They don't know jack about basketball. That's just really how it goes. They don't know nothing about it. They don't know nothing. So I just try to not even talk about it. I try to stay away.
Brady says Aaron Jones.
Ignorance is life-threatening.
LeBron James or Michael Jeffrey Jordan? We're at 997.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan is the greatest person to ever touch a basketball. And it's not even close. The greatest.
And it's not even close.
No, the greatest ever. The greatest of all time. Because he is him and will forever be him. Because he's that guy. And LeBron.
So you're saying LeBron is not?
No, Michael Jordan is. This, man, I can't say what I really want to say on here, but we're just gonna keep it at Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time.
Yeah. Just keep it at that.
It's a common sense thing now. By now it's basic common sense.
It's common sense.
But
it is totally common sense.
Common sense ain't common, and ignorance is life-threatening. Ignorance
is life-threatening. Where did you pick up that quote?
Probably from you or Paul. I can't remember. One of the two. But I think my top 3 NBA players are Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron James. Those are my top 3.
Blaine, Lambo, and Coach Taylor. We both know Kobe and MJ has the same bag, but did Kobe do it better than MJ? MJ said he did. I'm just going by what MJ said.
Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron James. Those are my top 3.
Man, what a blessing.